good morning to you. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and it is midweek, which means I need to say good morning to my G-man. How's it going?
My sister from another mister. Good morning. The funny thing is, I'm looking at you walk on screen. I'm like, have we superimposed you in another place? No, it's actually our new
beautiful
studio.
New set.
Oh, we love it. We're actually buzzing. We're even more excited about this one simple fact. It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
It's our first culinary hotline of a brand new year. We cannot wait for it. And of course, we've brought in the big guns this morning.
We definitely did, because Wednesdays on your Feel Good Breakfast Show means food, food, and more food. We have Chef Clem, who focuses on healthy eating this week, with Amy Hopkins, our guru in all things nutritious. So, of course, you do want to maybe keep your pen and paper close by.
Then, of course, new year comes new inspiration, some new ideas, and hopefully some refreshed new spaces. And we're going to be connecting with interior designer Donella Conti on how we can spruce up our homes. Trust me, a little bit of a change, and we're speaking from experience. Okay, granted, we had a lot of change here. Okay, it was pretty much like a complete transformation, but just a little element here or there can transform your space. So I hope you're ready to romp through the next 3 hours. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as I said, we've got the best foodie team in the world joining us this morning, and our brother from another mother. Good morning, Kat. How are you, boy?
A very good morning to you, Sanbonani Dumela Mbakaya. So yes, your Feel Good Breakfast Show is live, large and in charge. It's another beautiful morning, and as always, we are always delighted to be in your company, and we love connecting with you on social media as well. And as always, a little bit of a conversation starter for us on Facebook, where you can find us, of course, at Expresso Show. And we're asking you about all of the healthy eating hacks that you might have, because it is that time of the year where people are looking to really change their regimens around. So what they eat, what they snack on. So what's your favorite healthy snack? And please share your top healthy hacks with us. We'd love to know how you get aligned with your health goals for the day. For me, a good breakfast is always a good way to start the day off. A little bit of granola over there, and a bit of yogurt to go with it as well. We've got our Clover Classic snack over here. Plain flavor for me, thank you very much, is always the one that I guess it makes me feel a little less guilty when it comes to calories. Not that I really count that much, but a healthy dose of that, mixing it up with my granola, and that's how I like to have my breakfast and snack. So let us know what you like to do, and we'd love to hear from you for the next 3 hours as we start off the very first hour engaging in the morning's headlines. Zoe's got those for you.
Thank you, Kat. Let's start off with national headlines. Mass vaccination campaigns have begun in the 5 provinces where measles outbreaks have been declared. A campaign for the 4 remaining provinces will begin next month. 5 provinces have more than 370 confirmed cases. The largest number of cases have been recorded in children between the ages of 5 to 9, followed by 1 to 4-year-old age group, and then 10 to 14-year-old age group. A child health specialist at the National Department of Health, Dr. Leslie Bamford, said all children should have 2 doses of the measles vaccine. And staying with our local news, President Cyril Ramaphosa has declared a period of mourning for 7 days from Tuesday in honor of Dr. Frene Ginwala, the late founding Speaker of South Africa's Democratic Parliament. She passed away in Cape Town on Thursday night at the age of 90 following a stroke. In 2005, Ginwala was honored with the Order of Luthuli for her excellent contribution to the struggle for a non-sexist, non-racial, just and democratic South Africa. The national flag to be flown at half-mast around the country until the evening of the 24th of January. Now, moving to news abroad, Pope Francis will be making a trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan from 31 January to the 5th of February. This visit comes at a defining moment in what is regarded as a fairly progressive papacy. In 2021, Pope Francis, who is marking a decade since his appointment, began worldwide consultations on the future of the Catholic Church aimed at bringing several changes to Catholic practices, particularly around women's leadership, sexuality, and clerical privilege. It's viewed as an ambitious process, which will conclude in 2024. And staying with news abroad, Russian and Belarusian flags have been banned from the Australian Open tennis tournament, which is presently in full swing in Melbourne. This after a courtside incident. Spectators were initially permitted to bring flags into Melbourne Park on conditions that they did not cause disruption. However, the organisers reversed that decision yesterday when fans displayed a Russian flag during a match between Ukraine's Katerina Bandel and Russia's Kamila Rakhimova. The ban took effect immediately. Ukrainian fans summoned the police to the first round match on Monday, claiming Russian fans were taunting Bandel. An entrepreneurial 39-year-old Nduvuho Sikweta of Ntshovodulo village near Louis Trichardt in Limpopo has started a fish farming project that could provide employment for unemployed youth. The project, still in infancy stage, aims to lift fellow villagers from the predicament of poverty. Sikweta has dug 7 ponds in which he raises various types of fish such as catfish, Mozambique tilapia, as well as 3-pot barb along the banks of the local Lutandawdwa River in Limpopo province. The ponds also supply water to some community members, but Sikweta says a lack of funds is the issue. He adds, and I quote, "I was motivated by my desire to assist the local community. These ponds are a great help because I purify the water for the people to use." Community member Bridget Luvengo says their village has no water, but Sikweta uses his purifying pump to transfer water for them to drink, wash in and irrigate with. They are deeply grateful to him, Bridget says. Well, on that very inspiring note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a first look at your sport with Graham.
Thank you so much, Zozo. Let's start with cricket, and we are being treated to a stellar local tournament at the moment with a very international flair. The Joburg Super Kings bounced back from 2 successive defeats to beat the high-flying Pretoria Capitals by 6 runs yesterday. So needing 169 to claim the spoils and score 10 in that final over, the Capitals finished on 162 all out. And it was Aaron Pangiso who was the star with the ball, taking 4 wickets, while Lou Deploy top scored with 75 not out. Well, before that, Evan Jones took 4 wickets and Vian Lubba scored 57 as the Paarl Royals beat Durban's Super Giants by 10 runs there as well. And staying with cricketing news, Sune Lus will captain the Proteas women's side ahead of this month's T20 Tri-Series against India and the West Indies. Now, of course, the CSA have announced a 17-player squad that will be taking part in that Tri-Series, set to take place from the 19th of this month to the 2nd of February in East London. And the Proteas women will definitely be obviously using this Tri-Series as preparation before they host next month's ICC Women's T20 World Cup. That gets underway from the 10th of February. And thankfully, our stalwarts, Chloe Taran, Marzan Kapp, Shabnim Ishmael and Laura Volfard, all also in a very strong South African squad. Then we turn to Formula One. It looks like we'll keep that record number, but not extended. Formula One have 23 races this season, still a record, and one more than last year, with the sport facing a 4-week gap in April that was after now deciding not to replace the cancelled Chinese Grand Prix. So the race in Shanghai, originally scheduled for April the 16th as the 4th of 24 rounds this year, was axed last month for the 4th year consecutively now due to strict local measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. The 2023 calendar features the return of Qatar in October, a debut night race in Las Vegas in November, and then, of course, bolstered up 6 sprint weekends. Then we turn to tennis. This lot less political news around the year's first Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic, who actually made it to Australia this year, swept past Spain's Roberto Carballes Baena to launch his bid for a 10th Australian Open title. The 35-year-old, who was banned from last year's tournament, showed very few signs of that hamstring niggle that he picked up in Adelaide this month as he raced to a 6-3, 6-4 and 6-love win. Then Andy Murray rolled back the years definitely and saved a match point to beat Matteo Berrettini 6-3, 6-3, 4-6, 6-7 and 7-6 in a near 5-hour slog. Beautiful to watch. And then in the women's draw, second seed Ons Jabeur, she made hard work of her match against Tamara Zenansek, eventually winning 7-6, 4-6 and 6-1. So clearly it's going to be a hotly contested tournament, but we'll touch on all of those sporting headlines again in about an hour or so. Brand new day. Let's see if we can take the edge off this heat. Come on, Kat, do it for the people.
Well, Graham, let's see what we can do for the people this morning. Well, the South African Weather Services unfortunately has warned of extremely high fire danger conditions expected over the northern and central parts of the Northern Cape. A heat wave with persistently high temperatures is expected over the northeastern parts of the Eastern Cape until today, but it will persist until tomorrow in KwaZulu-Natal. Meanwhile, on the flip side, the Russian city of Yakutsk would be breaking all records this year as the temperature is expected to dip as low as, get this, minus 62 degrees Celsius. Let that sink into your bones a little bit. It's located some 5,000 kilometers east of Moscow. The Siberian city is known as the coldest on Earth. However, it's not that there's no summer there. While Yakutsk holds the record as the world's coldest city, it is also one of the greatest, or in variation in terms of temperature, where in summer temperatures can rise to over 40 degrees Celsius. Wow. What a place to live in. Well, let's now take a look at some of those beautiful sunrise views to start off our day. First up, a very good morning and a thank you to Rumba Govender, who snapped a subtle view of the sky before she heads out for a brisk walk all the way out in Durban. Roland from Belito shared a gorgeous tangerine-filled view from behind the plants in his garden. We love that. Elise de Beer showcased a vivid purple sky with the sun peeking through the clouds all the way out in Centurion. Marie in Heberdean showing off her morning view as she enjoys her daily walk on the beach with her friends. And last up, we have Emil Jones showing off the sun blazing through the palm trees from his home all the way out in Buccleuch before heading out to start his day. We really do appreciate those. Continue to share those with us on 063 408 8863. A quick look at the temperatures all around the country today, starting off in the northern parts in Polokwane, a low of 16 rising to a high of 29, and quite similarly in Mbombela, 19 to 29. Pretoria, 18 to 31, and Johannesburg, 17 to 30. That is your maximum. Out in the northwest in Mahikeng, a low of 20 will rise to a high of 32. In Klerksdorp, temperatures will range between 19 and 34 degrees Celsius. All the way out in Kimberley in the Northern Cape, 21 rising to a high of 37. And Bloemfontein in the Free State, 17 to 35. In Richards Bay, no chance of rain for you there. Today, a low of 25 rising to a high of 36. Pietermaritzburg, 21 to 36. In Durban, 24 to 32, while Mthatha will see temperatures ranging between 21 and 36 degrees. In East London, a low of 24 degrees will rise to a high of 30, while Cradock will see temperatures range between 19, a very hot 40, your maximum for the day. In Gqeberha, 22 to 28, and George, a low of 20, also rising to a high of 28. In the Western Cape, in the Mother City, a low of 18 will rise to 24 with a bit of rain. It is actually raining this morning in the Mother City. Worcester, 16 to 37. Sutherland, a low of 15 and a high of 31. And once again, Uppington topping those temperature records for today, a low of 24 rising to a high of 41. So do make sure that you stay shaded, you stay hydrated, and certainly keep your skin protected. That's it for the weather. We'll take another look at around 7 o'clock, but right now let's continue with your Feel Good Morning.
Oh, thank you, Kat. Well, you know what? It is Wednesday. We promised you food, food, food. And the Culinary hotline bling. Everyone is awake. Chef Clem and Amy Hopkins, they are here to solve your culinary conundrums.
I try to bribe everyone to keep them quiet, just so we don't have an awkward moment like tumbleweed blowing across. Now, the team are pumped, and yes, we are going to be taking a healthy focus. And of course, yes, we know load shedding is a reality. We know kids have a lot of energy. You combine these things, it can be disastrous. But in true South African fashion, we're going to find a solution in the problem. Nikki Bush has got some great ideas of how we can turn the tide, change the lens completely on how we see load shedding. It's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully the lights will stay on long enough for you to see that. We'll see you after the break. Zing, zing.
Team upstairs in the control room. How are you this morning? That earpiece is not going to stick to me today. I can tell you. So Lou, will you...
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, South Africa, to the very first Culinary Hotline of the year. Can I get a massive ting, ting, ting? Ting, ting, ting! So we're starting the year off with our best foot forward. We had an amazing festive season, and if you've noticed, you put on a few grams, you come to the right place, because today we've got Amy up in the kitchen, and she's going to turn those grams into gains. Amy, welcome back to the kitchen.
Thank you so much. So great to be here, as always. As you can see, we've got two recipes that we're going to be working on. We're going to start with the one here, which is a Mexican-style shakshuka. So both of these recipes are something that you can make for breakfast, because what's a great way to focus on getting those gains is to have protein first thing in the morning. It's great for losing weight, but also helps you to feel satiated throughout the day, so you don't get those cravings later on. It means satisfied.
Satisfied. So South Africa, if you want to be satisfied this morning, South Africa, get involved with the show, please do give us a call, send us a WhatsApp. I'm going to go to the control room to see if I can get that number. What is that WhatsApp number? Let's see. Are we opening that? The lines are open. It's 063 408 8863. That's 063 408 8863. So send us your voice notes. Give us a call. Amy loves talking to people. Amy, you love talking in general, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
So
always
South
been a
Africa,
chatterbox.
Lines open. Amy is here for you.
Please send us any questions. We want to be able to answer those.
Absolutely.
Particularly about breakfast or food, but I mean, it could be anything, right? It's a hotline.
Anything, absolutely. So where do we begin? You said we're making a frittata, we're making some
This is the shakshuka. So what I'm going to do is just pour a little bit of olive oil into this pan, which will be nice and hot already. So we're going to start with the shakshuka just to get those flavors going, and then we're going to move on to our frittata. So what we have here is some paprika, some cumin. These really bring out those beautiful spicy Mexican style flavors. We've got some jalapeno, some garlic. If you're not a big fan of garlic, I would say you can just set this out, but I love a bit of garlic. It's good for the immune system.
Say, if you're not a fan of garlic, just put those people out.
Just
that sounds right. Okay.
So we're going to just start by sauteing our jalapenos and our garlic, just adding a little bit of our spices already, just to get that fragrance just coming out of the pan. And then talking about protein, we've got two types of protein here. We've got our eggs, which we'll be adding later on, and we've got our beautiful black beans. Beans also great plant-based source of protein.
Yep. I like the fact that you've got a lot of colors happening, a lot of flavors. When it comes to eating, and I'm going to say healthy, people obviously think that food's going to be a little bland, not going to have a lot of character, but you've gone for ingredients like the jalapenos, the garlic, and the spices, which can add depth, add character to your dishes. And to be honest with you, it makes it less boring, because I mean, brown chicken, brown or chicken always, chicken, brown rice, and broccoli can only get you so far before you get really bored of it.
And that's why we use things like our herbs, our spices, our beautiful, even just your salt and peppers, fresh lemon juice on everything for me, just really brightens a dish up. So as you can see, we've got our flavors really into those beautiful black beans now. We're going to add some of our cherry tomatoes. So if you want, if you've got slightly bigger tomatoes, you can just quarter them. And we're just going to let that stir fry a little bit, and then add, because I know we're on time here, so I'm just going to move a little bit faster and add some tinned tomatoes as well. So just want this to kind of get all the flavors married together, get it all nice and cooked down slightly. We just want some of that liquid to evaporate before we add our eggs in a little bit later. So while this is just sauteing, I think we can start preparing our second dish.
Talk to me.
All right. If you can pass me the mushrooms first. That would be incredible. Thank you so much.
What can I do with this leek?
If you can slice that just into some fine rings, that would be great. So we're going to just heat again a little bit of olive oil in this pan over here and start by sauteing the mushrooms first. So you can use any mushrooms really. Mushrooms are also a source of protein. They've got quite a few different nutrients, fiber as well.
And then again, this is for our frittata.
This is for our frittata now.
Love
so
it. Okay.
Context switching here. Shakshuka's getting nice and simmery, and we're going to prepare our frittata. And why I love this frittata dish, especially if you're into meal planning, it's a great thing to make on like a Sunday evening, and then you portion it out for the next couple of days because it keeps quite well in the fridge. And you can really, if you're using, if we're looking at the protein quantity, for example, if you've done an hour of exercise in the morning, it's good to have about 20 grams of protein afterwards, which can look like, for example, about 3 eggs is about 20 grams of protein.
Like it.
So you can portion out the frittata to make sure that you've got that healthy breakfast ready to go when the week starts getting busy.
Perfect. Can I add some salt and pepper to the eggs? Or do
yes.
you season after?
No, you can season
Okay.
a bit now, and then I always taste, and then I season again later. So
I
let's
like
just
that
add
you're
these
using
leeks.
eggs as a source of protein. I think it's been said that it's like the cheapest form of animal protein, which I do love. I mean, also Mother Nature's made them like perfect little package for us already. I like them fried, scrambled, poached, boiled. Anyway, I love eggs. And especially because you said you can prep this ahead of time.
Exactly,
Because
so
frittatas,
versatile.
you can have at room temperature or even cold.
Absolutely.
So that's what I love about it.
And what you can do as well is if you're trying to extend this into a lunch, you can cut a little piece of frittata, heat it up, and have a side salad with it. It's perfect. Now you've got a whole meal.
Also, for parents out there, it's a great way to hide all those veggies. You've got mushrooms in there, leeks in there. You're adding courgettes, spinach, peppers.
Exactly. You wouldn't even think how many beautiful veggies do we have all in one go. So what I'm going to do now is add some courgettes, which we've just grated here quite finely, and then some baby spinach. It seems like a lot, but it'll wilt down.
Oh, we know that. It's
Right? It's like that packet disappears.
It's like your celery that you got in December. You're like, oh,
No.
boom, it's gone down. Whole bag of spinach turned into nothing. I love it. So that's and I do actually, often when I make a dish and I add baby spinach, I'll add the whole 200-gram bag.
I know,
Because
I'm
it does
the
just
same.
disappear.
And it's, again, you're adding those beautiful green nutrients. And in fact, a lot of your green veggies also contain protein, especially veggies like broccolis, for example. I love how Kim cleans up after me in the kitchen. That's perfect. At home, I'm a whirlwind in the kitchen, so my partner's always cleaning up after me as well. Thank God he loves cleaning.
That's good. Okay, so I like everything's come together. So for the frittata, we're going to add our eggs that we've beaten now. That's going to kind of set up nicely.
Exactly.
We've got one that's done already. For the shakshuka, we're going to crack some eggs in it, and it's so beautiful. It's colorful, it's vibrant.
Correct.
Texture's also there, and I love that. South Africa, don't forget, if you want to get involved, actually, you know what? What about sending us some of your tips about like what you recommend for your healthy 2023? Get us on WhatsApp.
we want to hear.
We want to hear. 063-408-8863. That's 063-408-8863. If you haven't saved the number to your phone yet, what's up? Okay. So let us know. Send us a voice note. Give us a call. Amy and I want to hear from you. Amy, I'm absolutely loving what you're doing. We're not done with you. We're coming back a little later. South Africa, are you loving this hotline?
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now, as much as we'd love to hide from it, there is nowhere to go. Disruption is in the air again, with constant load shedding impacting just about every household, every facet of life at the moment. Well, this morning, Nikki Bush is here to remind us how families can use load shedding positively. I mean, this is what we've got to deal with now. What are the conversations that are happening within households now during load shedding, do you think? And is that changing from when we first got subjected to this?
Yeah, Graham, I think it's so interesting because load shedding does give us the opportunity to pass on to our children the life skills of resourcefulness, resilience, and even entrepreneurship. And I'd like to share with you one of the conversations that I've recorded between a dad and his two sons.
Okay.
And these children are 8 and 11.
Okay.
So why is this thing with the electricity bad? The children, we can't watch TV. And why is that bad? Because we miss our favorite programs. And what else, says the dad? So this is this inquiring conversation.
Doing
okay?
a good job so far.
Good job. We don't see ads for stuff, and then no one buys stuff. And he says, and what else? And then the children say, shops can't open because they have no lights and card machines don't work. So can you hear the problem solving
I'm seeing a theme, yeah.
going on here? That the kids are working out the cause and effect.
I love that.
And this is good because it's critical thinking skills that we really need to raise children with critical thinking skills. And then the dad says, and why is that bad? And they say, because then the shops can't make money. Well, yes, money is a virtuous circle. And actually, we're very dependent on electricity to make things, to sell things. So children are really starting to think, and I really want to say to parents, use this opportunity to raise children who can think through the consequences of something. So if this, then what? If that, then where do we go to?
Every successful person, just to interject there, that I interview, I ask them what failure is. And they always give me this quizzical look of like, I don't understand the question, because it becomes such a natural flow for them dealing with these. Why is it so important to know these things, to learn these things ahead of entering into the adult world or the real world, if you will?
Because one day they will enter the real world.
They'll be there.
That world of work is going to be filled with moments that maybe they can't 100% control. And they're going to have to find a workaround. So what are we doing with load shedding? We're teaching our kids about Plan B. That Plan B is not always the worst thing that can happen. That sometimes Plan B can take us to unexpected places, which might actually be quite fun, quite interesting, quite exciting. And I think that that is a great way to give our kids perspective so that they don't panic when things don't go their way.
I absolutely love that. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment. I have a feeling that learning how to manage our expectations is not just a lesson that our children can learn through this process, but I think many of the parents out there can learn to regulate themselves as well. We are talking about how we can utilize opportunities like load shedding to put a positive spin on that relationship with our kids and help to teach them valuable life lessons. And we're going to continue that conversation in just a moment.
Oh, thank you, G-Man. But, you know, I hear load shedding and I just want to, like, boil over. But today we're going to help you to just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Because research have shown that people who exercise regularly have better mental health and emotional well-being and lower rates of mental illness. And here to take us through a workout that will be both mentally and physically stimulating is a fitness coach and ultramarathon athlete, Coleman Valentino. I am here for it. We want to make sure our mindset is on the right track for 2023.
Great. So I have a few mood lifting exercises for us. We're going to go up and down. We're going to go side to side. And there's going to be one exercise we're really going to focus and hold the pose with a bit of pulsing.
Okay.
Shall we get started?
Yes, please.
Okay. First one is we're going to go down into push-up position. Hands underneath the shoulders. So if you like your push-ups with your knees down, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So we just, if your knees are down, we're gonna lift up the hips, you're gonna reach opposite hand towards opposite ankle, touch, and then back again, plank pose, knees up or down, totally your choice, and then reach left hand towards the right ankle. This forces you to go up and down into a plank position. If you want more fitness out of this, nice and slow, you can add a push-up, knees up or down, get those elbows into the ribs, drop the chest all the way down, maybe lift up, and then repeat just on the other side, opposite hand, opposite elbow. So this really gets the blood flowing towards the brain there, upside down there. And then we can move on to the next one. Next one, we're gonna walk feet up, we're gonna be standing up. So it's a bit of an energy booster here, so we're gonna go into jumping squats.
Okay.
So you wanna watch the knees for the jumping squats, you wanna sit back, hinge at the hip, there we go, into the heels. Those of you who don't wanna jump, we just lift the heels up and push the hips forward, squeeze the glutes, sit back. Really keep that spine nice and straight, and then lift up, blades, there we go. If you want to add a small jump, you can just add that small jump, there we go, beautiful. I love how in sync we are.
I prefer the jump because my balance is off.
Oh, but then you need to work on that balance.
Definitely.
There we go. And then moving on to the other one, we're gonna do with legs. We're also gonna do a bit of twisting, touching the ankles. We're gonna step the right leg out towards the side. Left leg straight, right leg bends, like a side lunge here. We're gonna touch the ankle, reach up with the opposite hand. And then bring the feet together for me. Step up with the left leg. Twist, reach for that ankle. There we go. Come back to center and twist. If you want to, you're more than welcome to add weights to this exercise. If you want more of a pump there, more of blood rushing to the brain for that dopamine, bit of a mood lifter there. And then we're gonna lastly come into an exercise. We're gonna focus on balance, core, bit of pulsing and focus. We're gonna sit down for this one. Legs in front, so boat pose. Do you know what that is?
No, please tell me.
So we're gonna sit down like this, and we're gonna lift up the knees to 90 degrees. Hands are gonna be out in front. Those of you who this is difficult for can put the heels on the ground, but keep the knees bent. And we're just gonna pulse here. We're gonna really flex the chest forward, reaching, and then pulse up and down. So this focuses really on the abs here, a bit on the shoulders as well, and on the legs, squeezing the inner thighs again. I want you to get those toes up, kick through the heels. There we go.
Oh, it burns.
Beautiful. Do you feel that core?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, for how long do we have to do this?
I was tasting to see how long you can go.
Because you stopped counting there, so I was a bit worried.
Okay, one last exercise for the mood lifter is a bit of twisting. So we're gonna add another squat, but we're gonna squat, then we're gonna jump to the side and down. There we go. We're gonna jump forward and down. Forward, more of an energy boost here. So if you did the first squat with the heels down and you want to level up, you're more than welcome to do this one. Forward and to the left. There we go. Forward. Now I'll give you a little bit of an advanced version of this. So we're going to jump all the way back, squat, twist.
Oh, we're doing a little 180 twist.
And back forward again, yeah. So that is level up from the side to side jump there. So those are the exercises you can do just to get that blood running. I'm winded. Are you winded?
I am winded.
Feel energized?
Definitely. I'm definitely feeling energized. The
Okay,
dopamine
great.
levels are there.
Great,
Now,
great,
this
great.
morning on social media, every morning we start the show off with a good morning post. And this morning is all about healthy eating, that vibe right now. So what's your favorite healthy snack at the moment?
I would say just a nice, easy bar on the go with nuts. Yeah, with a lot of protein in it, with a lot of nuts, because protein helps to keep you fuller for longer. And then when it comes to dinner, I always add like broccoli or something green.
Always at the greens.
Yeah, greens. Yeah, fruit throughout the day is really good as well. So yeah, I try to stay away from dairy. It tends to make you a little bit sluggish, a little bit low on energy. So protein, vitamins, minerals, yeah, greens. definitely.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
Mr. Valentino. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for
course,
literally putting me through my paces, but it
Always
was
a
all
pleasure.
for a good cause. There you have it, some good exercises to make you feel great.
Oh, you can make my day.
Defeat your mucus monster. Mucofizz. Loosen mucus and phlegm for clearer airways. Brought to you by Pharmacodynamics.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our conversation with human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush about making the most out of load shedding and trying to find a little light in those dark times. I know I can joke about it because we're all experiencing it, and this is how South Africans survive, I think, as we laugh. But there are some deeper life lessons ready to be learned here, and we ended off in a beautiful place. You've been talking about your plan B, and for kids to be comfortable with knowing that there is a plan B, that you can utilize that plan B, and it might even be better than plan A. You don't know, but there is something quite intimate about that space that's created when suddenly PlayStation's shut out, the web is shut out, TV is shut out, all of this clutter is removed, and it's just you and the people that you love.
Absolutely, and I think we underestimate the importance of that time, the power of the opportunity to connect emotionally with your children. So, for example, you might not be able to read them a bedtime story, unless you do it by candlelight or torchlight, but why not tell stories in the dark? That is highly, highly memorable when there is only the voice. And that voice, you know, we underestimate how important our voices are to our children. The voice just contains so much security and emotional connection. And when you take away the sight, the voice is even more important. So your children need to really hear your voice and smell you for at least 10 minutes a day. So if you're cuddling and telling them stories, that is just the cherry on the top for your children.
That lesson that we are learning through this process, even as adults, about that plan B, I find that we struggle so much with change, and it's often the shock of the change more than the result of the change that is disturbing us. Why is it so important for our kids to understand that there can be a plan B and to have a plan B?
Now with load shedding, we're practicing plan B. There is another way. As soon as those lights go down, let's play a word game. And a word game can be as simple as, I want a rhyme in double quick time, and the word to rhyme is stop. And everyone's got to start chiming in with rhyming words, and then they get a chance to be the boss of the game. Exactly. And then you have to come up with the answers. So look at the life skills there of having to dig deep. It's not on tap. You've got to go within.
Think with your feet, yeah, or on your feet, yeah.
And that's super important.
I love that, and again, I think the whole family can benefit from being in those kind of spaces together and building those connections. In a practical sense, and I think our dad earlier who was asking those questions was on a perfect kind of route here. How do we turn these moments into teachable moments? What's a practical kind of way to approach it?
Okay, so let's go back to this conversation because it continues. So, he says, so why is this thing with the electricity bad? And they say, because we get to spend more time together as a family talking and playing games. And what else? Now, this is the social conscience that's speaking. We now know what other people feel like who don't have electricity like we do. So empathy, very important. Okay. And then the final piece here that is so important for a teachable moment, a lesson, is he says, can you think of any business opportunities because of this thing with the load shedding? And the kids say, because people can start businesses that sell generators. And
a light bulb moment.
What else? People can service generators or design machines that can save electricity and then sell them. So you can see how the thinking progresses.
If a 9-year-old can make those kinds of leaps, just imagine.
But only if we facilitate the conversation and the thinking. So it's a continual what if, and then what, and how about, and helping your children to fill in the gaps. And Graham, I'm sure you've experienced this with children learning how to talk. They're quite slow in finding the words, and it's so easy to jump in and finish the sentence for them. This conversation is an example of letting your children fill in the gaps.
I love that. Oh, there's development on just about every level, which I'm absolutely loving. But going back to another thing that you've really kind of highlighted in my own journey, this notion of rituals. The fact that you can create one of these family rituals out of something that is so frustrating and seen as such a dark part of the South African experience, that's beautiful to me. That's what it is to be South African. I absolutely love that. As a jumping off point, I would suggest right now, get hold of Nikki's book, Future Proof Your Child for the 2020s and Beyond, and then continue the conversation with Nikki directly on her Facebook group. It's a closed group called Parenting Matters, where she will answer all of your questions. This is a resource that I've been tapping into for the last decade, and it is absolutely invaluable. So please use it. And of course, you know what's going on. If the lights are going out, the games are starting tonight. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you, G-Man. Well, a study from the University of Barcelona found that there is, in fact, a strong connection between peanuts and peanut butter and overall improved brain health. So go nuts with this next recipe.
It's not working.
I've got an idea. Our slice, use bread, Ollie. This will get us going.
1, 2.
Go Nuts Peanut Butter. Nuttiness you'll never forget.
Made with love by Clover.
Yes, we are going nuts, and if you love French toast, banana and peanut butter, why not go nuts and combine them both into one easy, delicious recipe, perfect to keep the kids going with even bigger energy. Katlego is here and going nuts alongside me to help me with this recipe.
Ready for this.
Are you ready for it?
And quite a unique way of making a French toast sandwich when the ladies in the kitchen were telling me how to make it. Because usually I would have just toasted the French toast and then done the assembly.
Added the banana,
right?
yes.
But very differently in this case, what we're going to do first is create the sandwich, then klitz the eggs and add the milk and the banana, and then we're going to French toast that.
So the whole sandwich is being French.
Absolutely. There we go. So we're going to have our beautiful Go Nuts peanut butter, and I'm going to go for extra. As in, I'm going to go on both sides. How much peanut butter do you like when it comes to making sandwiches?
Generous.
You're generous?
Generous,
Good,
yes.
I like that.
Basically need to not see the bread, you know when you paint?
Yeah.
The undercoat mustn't shine through.
The
bread mustn't shine through.
Okay, I'm going to try and make sure I do you proud as our DIY queen and make sure that I get every single corner
there we go.
Of this bread. Were you much of a fan of peanut butter as a child?
As a child, even now as a grown-up, obsessed with peanut butter. Yep. And of course, peanut butter, banana, and a little bit of honey for me is a winning combination on some whole wheat toast or any cracker bread.
Okay, I'm gonna move this over.
Yeah.
And then you can, in the meantime, layer that beautiful banana that you've chopped up so beautifully.
Fantastic.
Onto our bread.
Since we are speaking about our Clover Go Nuts smooth peanut butter, it is made with 90% choice grade peanuts, perfectly grounded to create the smoothest, most spreadable peanut butter that is perfect for lunches. It's great for snacks, smoothies, or just anything. Its nuttiness will never, it's something you will never forget. Clover Go
Its
Nuts.
nuttiness will never end.
No, it will not end, and it's not something you will want to forget. But Clover's Go Nuts peanut butter, it is now available in the bigger jar. It's 800 grams, so that means even bigger energy.
How's my spreading?
Your spreading is fantastic. I'm going to layer the bananas.
I passed the banana. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to add our milk to our 2 eggs, and then we got some vanilla, just to kind of give it a bit of a fancy flavor to it. We'll whisk that together.
Do we close the sandwich? Can I go
please.
for it?
Yes, you got to close the sandwich. And then we are going to fry this in some butter.
Something about white bread.
What about it?
It just absorbs better.
Exactly, it really does. It really does.
More of everything.
Interesting story. French toast was one of the first things that my grandma taught me to make. After learning how to make an omelette, she taught me how to make French toast. So whenever guests would come home, I would make French toast, and it was like the talk of the street at some point.
So this
like,
is your speciality.
Everyone must go to Mama Hoja's house because the kid there knows how to make something called French toast, and it's like the stuff.
And do you serve your French toast with a bit of cinnamon and sugar or honey?
Back then, who had time for cinnamon? You just French toast, on a plate with tea. That was it. Actually, I think I should have all this butter.
Are you being more generous with the butter?
Yeah, I should be. I really should be. So obviously that's going to give a lot more creaminess to the crust. which is actually going to be beautiful.
Can
And
I
in the
go
meantime,
ahead and dunk
please,
our sandwich?
are you able to handle all of that?
I should be able to. I'm going to use
Woo, girl! There it goes. Okay, let me give you this
Oh, yes,
to work with. The
Spatula.
spatula. And I'll let the butter run around. Oh, look at that. Okay, make sure that your heat isn't too hot because you don't want to end up burning your butter. But it's looking
Looking
so
good.
ready. Okay, so here we go.
This is a team effort.
I'll hold the... Okay, cool. Bring it over. And landing. Houston, we don't have a problem. It's good. Okay.
There you go.
So I'll let the heat just go up a little bit because you wanted to have that kind of golden crust on the outside. And it's giving you some scrambled eggs on the side as well, which is great. Let's have
See,
a
I've
quick
never
look.
had a full sandwich French toasted. Like you said,
Yeah.
you always do the individual bread slices, then you add your toppings. So this is definitely more decadent.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. And you can see the peanut butter as well as the banana peeking out the side. So you know that when you bite into it, it's going to be a delicious mess.
Yeah. You asked me about peanut butter.
Yes.
Has peanut butter been something you've loved as a child?
Your peanut butter for me goes way back, right? So when I was in Tepo Primary School, there was like it was called like, we used to call it a feeding scheme. So they would bring like loaves of bread and packets of peanut butter and sherbet during break time. And then I'd be one of the kids in the class that was in charge of
Distributing.
making the sandwiches for the kids and the drinko pop, as it were.
Oh.
And like that was a delight for us, you know? Like you'd be sitting with your friends somewhere before you play football and just like munching this, drinking the sherbet.
Juice. So peanut butter and banana is something that I think grown-up Zoe got to love. But growing up, for me, it was peanut butter and jam.
Yes?
Peanut butter and jam. Strawberry jam, although in our house we only had apricot jam because that's the only jam my brother ate.
What, hey, what do you mean? What about Zoe's favorite jam?
He was such a picky eater. I think the idea was just to whatever Liam eats needs to be in the house.
Oh my word. Do you hold it against him these days? Do you mock him
Not
about
at all, because now I'm obsessed with
You're like,
strawberry jam.
the parents used to do everything for you, and now it's my turn. Okay, I'm going to let this... You see, I like it like this. I don't want it over-toasted.
Okay.
'Cause I still want a little bit of the softness, and we do have the softness on the inside as well. Let's have a look at what it's like on this side.
Well, while
I think
we
we're good for
finish
it.
that up, you can get your hands on this delicious recipe that Katlejos just showed you how to make. It is available on our website, expressoshow.com. You will simply serve it up with a little bit of honey, that's what we'll do, as well as some
Excellent.
fresh
Do you want to
fruit.
decorate for us?
I will definitely decorate. We'll just put
Oh,
some
man.
strawberries there.
And the thing is, you want to have it while it's still warm. That's the thing about French toast for me.
Definitely. You definitely want to have it with some fresh berries. There we go. And just
Drizzle?
a teeny tiny drizzle of honey.
You're very sainig with those berries. I thought you just go with all of them.
It's more for aesthetic, so that the
Aesthetic, you must eat with our eyes, Zoe. Oh, aesthetic in your mouth. Okay, I see.
Oh, well, listen,
Lovely.
if you've missed any of the steps to this delicious sandwich, we've got a recap for you.
Oh, so good.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
It's The Crush. Unlock your 100% TV show. Catch all the excitement as we unlock Crush fans' full potential to live their dreams. Watch the show on SABC2 starting on the 1st of February every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Plus, you stand a chance to win your share of thousands of prizes. Simply buy any Crush and follow the pack for entry details. Crush, 100% goodness.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. I hope you are ready to be inspired because we have got it in spades coming your way right now. We are joined this morning by an extremely talented young musician named Alba V. She is only 14 years old, but she has just returned to South Africa having recorded songs in California and worked with some incredible producers, the likes of Coco Quinn, Stefan Benz, an incredible list that's only going to grow. She was spotted by Dr. Ellen Roux, who then approached her to participate in the national round of the South African Championships of Performing Arts, and we've seen what that can do for a young career. She was noticed by multi-platinum producer Manny Mijares, who offered her a contract, and as they say, the rest is history in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, a feel-good welcome for young Miss Alba V. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry, that's all the excitement we can muster at 6:45 in the morning. It's so good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the early start. It's difficult to know where to begin with you, because normally I'd be like, take us back to the beginning, where it all started. But it kind of feels like you're too young to have a beginning beyond where you are. But that being said, there must have been a spark. I know the talent is there, but there seems to be a choice to really take this full on and go and embrace it. Was that a moment? Has it been building for a while? Talk us through your love of music.
So it started when I was very young.
Very younger.
Yeah, very younger. But I think about 7, 8 years old, my mom realized I had like this little dramatic thing going on.
Little flair.
Yeah, it was like I was all about drama and I had so much sass. And then she decided to sign me and my sister up for some vocal training. And then I started, so I started actually with the Meghan Trainor song, which I think at that time was like, it was the sassiest song on earth.
It was a perfect match.
And it was like falling in love, but only with a song. So I think that is where it actually like began. So it's actually just my mother's doing, really, but yeah.
No, we can blame our moms for all the good things that happened to us. That's perfectly good. I love that. So you talk about Meghan Trainor. It strikes me you've got the kind of tool when it comes to your vocal range that you can pretty much do anything, go in any direction now. What do you think are going to be the influences that drive you right now? What makes you excited when you think about creating music? Where do you want to go with it?
Definitely inspiring other people to like, because it's not impossible. If you believe and if you work hard and if you want to make it happen, then it's gonna happen. Yeah, so you really need to get yourself in that mindset where like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it right and I'm going to put like all the effort in, because my father, it's like a saying, it's always, the two sayings is that life is unfair and nothing comes from laziness.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow your dad every once in a while for my kids as well. I absolutely love that. It's crazy to me. I think we've all been through a mental journey over the last few years that has changed the game for all of us. Whether you're young, whether you're 14 or not 14 in my case, I think we've all kind of wanted to reevaluate what's important to us. Why is it important for you to inspire other people? Why is that? You could have told me any answer there. You could have said, oh, I want to sing rock, I want to sing pop, but you chose to focus on the people that are listening to you. Why is that important?
It's gonna sound very cheesy, but
do it, girl. We're in the cheesy game here. Yeah.
We are growing up in like, it's a messed up century. People will do anything and everything to just like get this little bit of like to shine only for a moment. And it's not about doing like whatever other people tells you. You need to do what you want to do. So, and there's also people are mean. They will tell you things and you'll start to believe them because each one of them is going to tell you the same thing. But the truth is, they actually hear it from one person.
Yeah.
And then they just start copying and pasting the words of that one mean person. Yeah. So people can be mean. And I just want to say that it doesn't, what they're saying doesn't define you, because it's not, it doesn't, that's not who you are. It doesn't mean that is who you, So it's all fake. People are fake.
You're going to be fine, girl. You're going to be fine. I've grown up in this space. I started really young like you. I've just got to ask you, because you seem so switched on and together right now. What role has your support structure played in that? You've spoken a couple of times about your mom and your dad. How important is their role in where you're at right now?
Oh.
I'm a cry risk, okay? So don't make me cry, please. Just,
my mom and dad, they're supportive. But they're just like, if you want to do it. We're not going to stop you. We're behind you. If it fails, then we will support you. If it does not fail, we will support you. Like, either or. It doesn't matter which direction it goes.
I think they know a good investment when they see it. Absolutely love it. Your mom is always present behind the scenes as well. How important is it to have your team around you in this space now that you're starting to take that step up? Because you're playing in an adult arena now.
Yeah, the environment that I'm in right now, it's very older people and not younger. But it's actually, you learn that with, what's that saying? With age comes like wisdom.
Hopefully.
And I definitely think that's true, because I have learned a lot in the past 3-4 months, and it's all coming from old people, so.
Thank you. Old people like me, okay? Old people like me. I absolutely love it. Now, you have got it all together. And I love the fact that the next time I see you, you are going to be a global singing sensation, because you have proven that if you've got the fortitude, you can do it, because you're doing it. She ain't going nowhere. We have got 3 performances coming your way. Alba V is here. Go and show us some love on social media. We'll get into that performance in just a moment. Right now, the news headlines.
Well, let's hope that has inspired you at the start of a brand new day. While the Times has gone 7 o'clock, let's quickly take a look at the news headlines, starting off on the national news front, where the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has announced that 1,451 people died on the country's roads over the festive period. This is a decrease of about 13.9% compared to the same period last year, when 1,685 road deaths were reported. Now, there was also a 6.5% decrease in fatal collisions. Mbalula also said that road accidents involving pedestrians were a major source of concern. Pedestrians accounted for some 41% of total road deaths during the festive period, compared to 31% in the previous year. In other news, mass vaccination campaigns have begun in the 5 provinces where measles outbreaks have been declared. A campaign for the 4 remaining provinces will begin next month. 5 provinces have more than 370 confirmed cases. The largest number of cases have been recorded in children between the ages of 5 to 9, followed by the 1 to 4-year-old age group, and then the 10 to 14-year-old group. Now, the child health specialist at the National Department of Health, Dr. Leslie Bamford, says all children should have 2 doses of the measles vaccine. Taking a look at international news headlines, China's population has decreased for the first time in 60 years, with the national birth rate hitting a record low 6.77 births per 1,000 people. Now, the population in 2022 of 1.411 billion fell by some 850,000 from 2021. China's birth rate has been declining for years, prompting a slew of policies to slow the trend. But it has now entered what one official described as an era of negative population growth. Meanwhile, in India, which is poised to overtake China as the world's most populous country, the national birth rate was 16.42 per 1,000 people. Now, Pope Francis will be making a trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan from the 31st of January to the 5th of February. And this visit comes at a defining moment in what is regarded as a fairly progressive papacy. In 2021, Pope Francis, who is marking a decade since his appointment, began a worldwide consultation on the future of the Catholic Church, aimed at bringing several changes to Catholic practices, particularly around women's leadership, sexuality, and clerical privilege. Now, it's viewed as an ambitious process which will conclude in 2024. And then finally, Newhouse Wildlife Rescue in Chelmsford, Massachusetts in the United States is a safe haven for orphaned or injured local wildlife. Now, recently they took in orphan baby beavers named Nibby and Zibi. Now, Nibby arrived at just 1 week old, and she was found wandering along a busy road all by herself, and efforts to locate her parents were in vain. The rescue quickly welcomed the tiny beaver and gave her a checkup before beginning her multi-year rehabilitation program. Now, it wasn't long after that Nibby was rescued that the Wildlife Center welcomed another baby beaver, 5-month-old Zibi. Now, the two beavers didn't hit things off at first. Nibby wasn't a fan of Zibi, but over time they have grown attached to one another. And after seeing the little adorable pictures, how can we not all just love them too? And hopefully that's filled you up with a smile and a bit of love on this morning. That's it for the news. We'll take another look at 8 o'clock right now. Here's another look at the headlines from the world of sports.
Thank you so much, Kat. Cricket dominating our early headlines this morning. Let's start with some stellar action yesterday. The Joburg Super Kings bounced back from 2 successive defeats to beat the high-flying Pretoria Capitals by 6 runs yesterday. So needing 169 to claim the spoils and score 10 in that final over the Capitals, they ultimately finished on 162 all out. Aaron Pangiso, the star with the ball, taking 4 wickets, while Lewis Ploy, he top scored with 75 not out. Before that, Evan Jones had taken 4 wickets, while Vian Luba, he scored 57 not out as the Paarl Royals beat the Durban Super Giants by 10 runs. And staying with cricketing news, Sine Lewis will captain the Proteas women's side. That's ahead of this month's T20 Tri-Series up against India and the West Indies. So CSA announced a very strong 17-player squad that will take part in the Tri-Series, set to take place from the 19th of January to the 2nd of February in East London. The Proteas women will be using this Tri-Nations series as obvious preparation for being the hosts next month, of course, of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. That gets underway from the 10th of next month. And there are some stalwarts in the mix: Chloe Taron, Marazan Kapp, Shabnim Ishmael and Laura Wolfhard, all named in that very strong squad, as I said. Then we turn to Formula One. It's on, it's off, it's off, it's off again. Formula One will have 23 races this season, still a record, and one more than last year, with the sport facing a 4-week gap in April after deciding not to replace the cancelled Chinese Grand Prix. So the race in Shanghai, originally scheduled for April the 16th as the 4th of 24 rounds, was axed last month now for the 4th year in a row due to strict local measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. The 2023 calendar features the return of Qatar in October, a debut night race in Las Vegas. It's going to be a highlight, and that's in November, and then 6 sprint weekends, so they've bolstered that as well. Going to be great for the fans. And speaking of which, great to see this man in the first Grand Slam of the year, because he, of course, wasn't there last year. We turn to tennis as Novak Djokovic swept past Spain's Roberto Carvalhas Baena to launch his bid for a 10th Australian Open title. The 35-year-old, who was banned from last year's tournament, showed very few signs of that hamstring niggle that he picked up in Adelaide this month, racing to a 6-3, 6-4 and 6-love win. Then Andy Murray rolled back the years, looked back to his best and saved a match point, in fact, to beat Matteo Berrettini 6-3, 6-3, 4-6, 6-7 and 7-6 in a near 5-hour slog. Incredible to watch. Then in the women's draw, second seed Ons Jabeur, she made hard work of her match up against Tamara Zerancek, eventually winning that one 7-6, 4-6 and 6-1 to see her progression. Well, we'll touch on those headlines again at 8 o'clock right now. The roads should be waking up, so let's get you to work safely. Zoe's got the latest on the traffic front.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start off with traffic in the northwest. There's some protest action on the R49 route at Kopfontein. The roads are closed. Please use an alternative route this morning. In Midrand, Johannesburg, there are roadworks on the R21 northbound after Olifantsfontein Road. 3 lanes are closed. Please drive carefully. Well, that's your traffic for today. Let's take another look at your weather. And we start off with a bit of news. This report is an item of most encouraging news for the environment. Electric vehicle, shortened EV, their sales reached record highs in the UK last year. even with total new car sales driven to their lowest levels in 3 decades by supply chain disruptions. Nearly a third of all new cars sold in December 2022 were EVs, and they made up almost 17% of vehicle sales throughout the year, overtaking new diesel car sales for the first time ever. It's reported that EV sales in December 2022 were seriously impressive and represented a major turning point in the move away from fossil fuel cars. This underlines the clear long-term ambitions to end sales of fossil-fueled cars by the year 2035. Well, for your 7 a.m. update, we bring it back home where we take a look at your sunrise views. Andile from Bloemfontein captured this early morning photo of the sun rising up between the leaves of the trees. Desiree from Pietermaritzburg sent this stunning view from her garden of the tall, luscious palm trees. Vini Govender snapped this view while on his way to work, showing off rays of light peeking out in the distance. And this photo was taken in Rossborough. And last up, Louise G. Cheery in Rocky Bay, showing a magical view of the pier with blazing sun hues glowing up the sky. What a beautiful way to start your day. Well, if you have a sunrise view, please share it with us on 063 408 8863. Let's get into today's temperatures. Polokwane, your low is 16, your high 29. Mbombela 19, 29. Pretoria 18, 31. Johannesburg 17 with a high of 34 today. Mahikeng 20, reaching a high of 32. Klerksdorp 19, 34. Kimberley, a low of 21, a high of 37. Bloemfontein, 17 with a high of 35. If you're in Richards Bay, 25 is your low, 36 your high. Pietermaritzburg also reaching a high of 36 degrees Celsius today. Durban, 24 with a high of 32. Mthatha, 21 with a high of 36. East London, 24 is your low, 30 your high. Sunny in Cradock and hot conditions, a low of 19, a high of 40. Gqeberha, your low, 22, your high, 28. George, 20, reaching a high of 28. Some rain for Cape Town today, 18 is your low, 24 your high. Worcester, 16, 37. Sutherland, 15, 31. And a hot day for Uppington, a low of 24 and a high of 41 degrees Celsius. Well, that's your temperatures for today. We'll have a final update shortly after 8.
Yeah, that weather did not come here to play. It's not your friend.
Take the jacket
41
off.
degrees. What do you do in 41 degree weather?
Nothing. You cook eggs on your bonnet.
Sit at home and play games.
No, I would
Stay shaded.
see if I could cook an egg on my bonnet. If you can cook an egg on your bonnet today, please post a video.
Well, that might be a game that you might want to play. But there's an opportunity for you to play daily and win big and unlock your summer with VodaPay when you get a chance to share in 500 million rand in cash and rewards. And we're talking cash and rewards like, of course, data, electronics, there are appliances, cash prizes, as I said, and fuel for an entire year. How good would that be?
That's most of the 500 million gone then, eh?
No,
No, I'm joking. It's incredible. And what I love about this is that try to match it and build it around the things that you need so you can enhance your lifestyle and obviously have a lot of fun along the way. So unlock your summer and get. Let's talk about this. Free airtime when you download VodaPay and purchase summer bundles. Free daily games with 3 free daily unlocks when you use VodaPay. And if you feel like going big, buy a mega unlock summer game for 5 VodaBucks each to win even bigger and better rewards than those won by playing daily free games. So you can just level up and level up and level up.
Absolutely. You earn more VodaBucks by completing personalized goals so that you can then end up buying extra unlock summer and mega unlock summer games as well. And then you can use those VodaBucks to shop in the VodaBucks store on the My Vodacom app. As simple as that. Like you play, have fun, earn VodaBucks, then shop.
Win. And then you use the money that you win to repeat the process.
And then you could then win even bigger. 500,
It's amazing. You take it all.
500 million, just
500 million is all yours. Or if you can pull that off, let us know. There is an opportunity to win, but it is your last chance to win a Superbalist voucher to the value of 400 Rand with Vodacom. How you do it? Simply reply to the competition post on our Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram pages and tell us how you will be unlocking your summer with VodaPay.
And of course, don't forget to hashtag unlock your summer. This week's competition does close at midday today, and T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. Don't delay, you've got a few hours to go. Go ahead and have some fun with Vodacom and unlock your summer.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to the second installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ching, ching, ching! Amy, it's part 2, but before we begin,
Very excited.
we have a few voice notes, and I'm very excited to hear them.
Yes.
Let's listen to our first voice note.
Good morning, Expresso family. This is Lebohang from Timeless Deco Services. It definitely has to be the Jungle Oats, those energy bars. Yeah, thank you.
So we asked people about some of their healthy snack hacks, and I think a delicious bar filled with grains and delicious goodness is a good one.
I'm such a big fan of oats. Honestly, you can make your own at home if you don't have access to just getting those snacks easily at a shop or something. And oats, obviously, they've got protein in them, which we've been talking about earlier, having that protein at breakfast. Also got some good carbs just to keep you going for the day. I think it's a great power breakfast to have and a good snack as well. So absolutely.
I love it, I love it. And that's not the only one. We have another one. Let's take to this voice note.
Good morning, Expresso family. I am Ovayangani from Eastern Cape, Nonid. My favorite healthy snack is peanut butter and apple slices, or watermelon and peanut butter slices.
Peanut butter all day, every
Again,
day.
amazing. Great source of protein, good healthy fats, and especially adding it with the fruit in between. So I love even some peanut butter banana on a sandwich, for example, piece of toast with apple slices, excellent. Some people do peanut butter and celery. I'm not sure if you're a fan of that. You kind of take the celery and you put the peanut butter in between and you smash that as a little snack.
And then sometimes if they put like little raisins on them and it's called toads on a log.
That's, oh no, I'm not sure if that's my thing, but if it's your thing, it's pretty healthy, good snack.
But
so
peanut butter, yes.
Good. Peanut
Love
butter,
peanut butter.
absolute win.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap about what we made in the first part.
Yes.
So we did our beautiful frittata. This is the one that's done. We're going to finish it off by just adding a few pepper dews to it.
Exactly. So as you said towards the end of the last segment, we just poured the beautiful egg mixture onto those veggies that we'd been sauteing. You pop that into the oven for about 15 or so minutes, just until the eggs properly cooked through. And as you can see, we have this beautiful finished dish here, garnished with some basil afterwards. And there is your stunning frittata, which you can portion out for a couple of meals for the rest of the week. And here is our finished
shakshuka.
Spicy, mixy shakshuka. What you can do with this is garnish with some coriander, some avocado, just to give it that extra bam of Mexican flavor.
Gonna borrow some greenery.
Borrow some greenery
And I
from
like
the
the fact that you can, like, if you want a shakshuka with like runnier eggs, you can just time it perfectly. This one's got like a hard-boiled egg.
Yes.
I know people that hard-boiled. I know people that prefer having hard-cooked yolks.
Completely.
And that one's for them.
Yes,
delicious.
exactly. I prefer my eggs a little bit softer.
Me too.
So that when you cut it open, it does that beautiful drizzle, but each to their own.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move on to what I call just like, it's such a great easy dinner. It's basically a Mediterranean-style fish bake. And because I told you already about me and dishes in the kitchen.
Me too.
I like everything that can be made in one tray. So one tray meals, absolute winning hack for time saving, cleaning up afterwards, and it's a great healthy dish for the whole family.
Love it.
So what we've got in here earlier, as you spoke about the colors, we want to eat the rainbow, so having all our different colors of veggies, giving us those different nutrients. So we've got our tomatoes, some baby potatoes, some courgettes, some red pepper, some onion. And what we're going to do is basically just very rustically place this all into the baking tray. And then we're going to just drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. And the whole thing is, before we get going, get that oven to 200 degrees because we want those veggies to cook quite quickly. We'll only be adding the fish a little bit later on because fish cooks much faster than the veggies do. So today we're going to be working with some hake, which is a nice sustainable white fish. We've got some slices over here, already just getting a little bit of a flavor curing from those lemon slices. And now we're just adding some tomatoes. So I know this looks like a really full, big tray, but that's kind of what you want because those veggies do tend to cook down a little bit and everything softens, especially the tomatoes. The juices kind of roll out. I mean, look at how pretty and chunky that is, right?
Also looking at this, if you put this in a cast iron pan or dish, you could make this on the braai.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You really could.
Especially considering
summer braai season. Let's go.
Okay. I was going to say considering load shedding, but yes, summer braai season.
I have been braaiing so much this whole season, really, and a lot of it is because we're forced to be outside.
And I love that,
we need to be able to cook dinner. I don't mind it at all. I think it's quite lovely. So just quickly, what I'm doing here is garnishing with some olive oil, some salt, some pepper. And again, you know I'm a big fan of garlic. So what we have here are a few garlic cloves. I like to keep these whole, and they just infuse that flavor into the dish. You can take them out afterwards, but I like how soft they get when they roast, and you just squeeze them out, and that's, I find absolutely yummy.
Keeping the skins is a good idea because if you're going to cook it for a long time, the skin actually protects the garlic.
Exactly right, yes.
I love that.
Perfect.
This goes to the oven or the braai, cooks down, gives a nice and saucy, caramelized. Then the fish goes on. And honestly, hake cooks for like not even 10 minutes.
Really, it depends on the slice thickness. So if you've got almost a more like square, sort of rectangular slice of fish, that might take a little bit longer. Here we've got some beautiful, slightly thinner slices that will cook pretty quickly. You've just got to make sure that it doesn't look translucent anymore. You really want those beautiful, opaque, flaky bits of fish to come off. That's how you know it's ready. So what I'm going to do here is just also put a little bit of fresh thyme. Thyme is the herb we're using on this amazing Mediterranean dish. And just like we were saying, imagine this has now gone into the oven for about 40 minutes or so. You do want everything to have cooked down slightly, particularly the potatoes. So what you can just do is take a knife when it comes out and just poke those potatoes just to make sure that they cook through. Then what we would do is layer the fish on top, pour over some white wine or some vegetable stock. I mean, it's still summer, right? Are we having a little bit of a good time?
Yes, of course you can.
And actually the alcohol cooks off, but it leaves beautiful flavor. Or you can just use a cup of vegetable stock instead.
That looks so beautiful.
And
that
again,
is amazing.
Lots of fresh lemon juice. Love my lemon juice. It just gives everything that brightness, that absolute like yumminess factor. And we can see we've got our finished dish over there. with the beautiful lemon slices on top and some fresh thyme.
I think that's great. This on its own looks like it'll make an amazing side to anything.
Oh my goodness, absolutely, right? So you can take this and serve this as a side to anything else you've got going on the braai, for example. This can actually be a dish on its own if you're wanting a vegetarian option, but we are talking about getting that balance of all the nutrients, your protein, your fats, your carbs all together in here, and then of course all our delicious colorful veggies which pop with all the different nutrients that we need. Good vitamin C, keeping us healthy, onion for that flavor.
I love it.
There you go.
Let's see if we can squeeze in one more voice note very quickly before we wrap up the segment. Let's hear who we've got on the line.
Good morning to the Feel Good Expresso team. Mrs. Nirmala Devi Mudli of Amkumas. My favorite snack most of the time would be some tuna and mayonnaise on crackers with a bit of maybe lettuce and some seeds and raisins. Have a blessed season. Thank you.
Raisins again.
And you know what? I'm going to do that because did you hear that energy? That energy. So if you want to have energy like that,
This
tuna
early in the
mayo and a little bit
morning,
of
I love it.
raisins on a cracker. I absolutely love it. South Africa, please keep your voice notes coming through. That number 063-408-8863. Amy, we're not done.
I know, so I wanted to say another great hack with that, if you like a bit of tuna on a cracker, if you don't have mayonnaise or you want to try something different, you just take some avocado, mash that up and put that with the tuna instead. Avo tuna on a cracker. It's a thing, I promise.
I'm totally going to try that. We're not done yet, South Africa. There's one more segment to come. We're going to put a little twist on a normal risotto. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Risotto and barley. Do you think it'll work?
I'm sure it'll work.
It's going to work. So make sure you don't miss the third installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Tang, tang, tang. Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, it certainly is your feel-good breakfast show. Thank you so much for joining us at the start of a brand new day. And of course, a big day awaiting our class of 2022 because tomorrow the 2023 Matric results are out. And for many, it will be a cause for celebration and for others, a time of disappointment at not achieving those desired marks in subjects or not getting a bachelor's pass, for instance. But this, of course, is not the end of the road. Please know and understand that because there are various options that are available to achieving a bright future. And to talk to us through this process of disappointment is Head of Institution at the Boston City campus, Dr. Hendrik Botha. Great to have you with us this morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. And good morning to all the viewers this morning.
Absolutely fantastic to have you. We've had some discussions off air, very inspiring as we look towards the future of what Africa could be in the next decade or so and how young people can particularly benefit from that. But as we said, taking it back to the big day tomorrow. It's a big day for our learners, the class of 2022. They're waiting for their matric results. And of course, this against the backdrop of much celebration, there could be a lot of disappointment in that time as well. So how does it impact young people at that very important stage of life? You've been working 12 years of your life to get to matric, and finally there's disappointment at the end of the road. How does that impact you?
So let me first say, let's celebrate. It's an early celebration for all of those who are going to achieve the exact grades and the exact results they were aiming for. Congratulations to them.
Indeed.
And congratulations to all of those who've actually sat for the exams and also just obtained an ordinary pass because it's a record number of students that have written this year. So that's exemplary, and that's a good trend for South Africa.
Excellent.
Getting more passes, holding on to more of our matriculants. Disappointment, welcome to the world of adulthood. We are all going to deal with challenges and disappointments for the rest of our lives in various ratios and various circumstances. But let me say welcome to adulthood and also say this is a new day, a new dawn, and this is an opportunity to craft your future. As an adult, every day is an opportunity to start afresh, to start again. You'll be faced with new choices and new opportunities, and every day is an opportunity to make a new decision, a different decision, not to be disappointed downstream. So this disappointment, this creeping in of negativity should not be there. As you mentioned, we'll discuss it. There are many, many opportunities to start afresh and to start again, because that is the positivity about adulthood. Every day is a new day.
And I guess that's the first setting you kind of need to work on in your own mind psychologically, that, okay, this is the world, this is how life works, and the sooner you learn to deal with those moments of disappointment and build resilience so that you could make it through them, the better off you are. So now that you are at that point, let's talk about opportunities that then might exist. For those that, let's say, are not going to a tertiary institution to go and study further, what options are available to start afresh, as you were saying?
So South Africa has some of the most progressive human resource development policies and strategies in place, which bodes very, very well for human capital development on all rungs of the ladder in terms of the quality of passes you obtain from school. And it is a bit of the bigger picture is it is a bit of a cart before the horse, in that we need to develop the human capital in order for investors to want to uptake those talent into jobs.
Makes sense.
So yes, the job market is tight, but the positive trend is why should you develop yourself further? It's to have the first foot in the door for a job opportunity, and graduates have a much lesser unemployment rate, vastly lesser than those with no qualifications.
Okay.
So that's the first key. So there are many, many opportunities. We can discuss them in detail, but we can also look at the bachelor's passes and other opportunities.
Absolutely. Just, from understanding, because, you work with learners, young people in your day-to-day dealings. To those who, let's say, didn't make it, right? What do you have to say to their families and those people who are around them that stand as support structures for them at this time? Because, you can imagine, initially, it will be a shock to the individual, to their family, and to the community, perhaps, and that might have an impact on them. What would you say to those people who stand in support?
So I would say it's an opportunity to reset, and I would guide the learners to career counseling opportunities. I think career counseling and planning is one of the most underrated keys during your school phase, but also post-school phase.
Yes.
Making decisions for the future. And career planning is widely accessible at no cost. At many, many instances and intervals. You'll be amazed at how many institutions like ourselves make available for walk-ins to come and discuss and do career planning, access tools at no cost and at no with no inclination to hold on to the student necessarily, about matching your desires, your values, with future opportunities, with career paths, because that's the first start. You can also do a lot of that on the internet. If you start dedicating time to planning and looking at the career, then we can start unpack the roots to the career. So there are many. So once we targeted a specific career, then the roots can be unpacked, and the roots are. What's wonderful about this decade, and what's wonderful about the last 2 decades, is access to education has become an imperative. Because we know developed human capital is more in demand, so therefore there are various routes to accessing educations to unlock these career opportunities.
Absolutely.
And that comes in many forms.
Yeah. And we'll chat a little bit more about that after the break. And I want to share a little bit of what you were saying is super inspiring about where we are right now as a continent in the signing of the free trade agreement on the African continent that will result in some $3 trillion in an economy that holds potential for everyone who is a thinker and a problem solver. And just because you might not have made it past the Matric or grade 12 hurdle, that does not preclude you from being part of that bustling economy and the future that it holds. So we'll continue our discussion with Dr. Botha very shortly as we look upon the big day tomorrow.
Let's see if we can ease your pain just a little bit with some beautiful music this morning. We are back with the unbelievably talented and just wonderful Alba V. She is back on our Expresso studio floor and is standing by with her first amazing performance, and this is one of my absolute favorites. It is a classic. Here is her rendition of Empire State of Mind. Enjoy.
As a place of movie scene. Noise is always loud, there are sirens all around, and the streets are mean. If I can make it here, I can make it anywhere, that's what they say. Seeing my face in lights, on my name on marquees, found out no way. But even if it ain't all it seems, I got a body full of dreams, baby. I'm from New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. You're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you. Here for New York, New York, New York. On the avenue, there ain't never a curfew. Ladies work so hard. Such a melting pot on the corner, selling rock. Preachers pray to God. And the gypsy cab takes me down from Harlem to the Brooklyn Bridge. Someone sleeps at night with a hunger for more than an empty fridge. I'ma make it by any means. I got a pocket full of dreams, baby. I'm from New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. You're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you. Here for New York, New York, New York. One hand in the air for the big city. Street lights, big dreams, all looking pretty. No place in the world that can compare. Put your lighters in the air, everybody say yeah, 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 yeah. New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. You're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you. Here for New York, New York, New York.
Wow. Woo. Oh, my word. You said you're on a mission to inspire people. I'm just thinking about the young people watching you do this right now. It is amazing. That was incredible to make a song like that your own, and that was all you. Stunning. Thank you so, so much. We've got 2 more performances coming our way. We cannot wait. Alba_V on Instagram. Go and show her some love. Go find her on TikTok. Show her some mad love, because she is working so hard towards a goal and she is knocking it down. Absolutely beautiful. 2 more performances coming your way. Alba_V on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Beautiful.
such a champ right now.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, as we continue to hold thumbs, of course, for all of our matriculants receiving their results tomorrow, but we're also looking to help those who might feel a bit disappointed at their results. Dr. Hendrik Botha is here from the Boston City campus, and he joins us to continue our discussion. And a very interesting thing that we were talking about a couple of seconds ago is the admissions points system that is used by most tertiary institutions to then admit students into their various programs, but most being the operative word, because not all institutions actually work on that system. How does it work in some institutions?
So let me first say what's the minimum requirements. The minimum requirements to gain entry to higher education is your Matric pass plus your relevant endorsement. That's the minimum requirements. Right. So i.e. if you want to study a degree program, do you have a Matric certificate with a degree endorsement? If you want to study a diploma, do you have a Matric certificate with a diploma endorsement? For higher certificates, Matric with higher certificate endorsement. That's the minimum requirements. Then institutions are allowed to set additional technical benchmarks. And that's really to service the function of the traditional institutions having a limited number of seats. There are more bachelor and diploma and higher certificate holders, entry holders, than what there are seats available in a traditional institution.
Right, that makes sense.
So it's an easy way to say who would be the candidates who best fit this limited number of seats. But that's not a requirement, and that's not the purpose of widening access and making access to higher education available, not just in South Africa, but globally. So the non-traditional institutions who are starting to generate as many graduates that's in demand in the world of work do not abide by the point system. They traditionally only have the requirement to say, if you want to study, if you want to take on a bachelor's degree program, do you have bachelor's endorsement? Yeah. That's ordinarily the minimum requirement, and that suffices access. We have a long positive history with open and distance learning in South Africa, making use of the non-point system in widening education.
Right.
And if you consider the long and the beautiful history of open and distance education, it has generated more graduates and postgraduates in South Africa than the traditional universities combined.
Well, that's something to take.
So the point system is really not something to break your head on and to become disheartened about.
Right.
If you did not make that grade, there are other avenues to explore.
Yes, let's talk about those. And I think one of them being the option of maybe improving one's marks through rewriting. And let's talk about the various options available.
Okay, so my advice would be a rewrite becomes important if you are committed to a very specific trajectory that you did not meet the minimum requirements for in the first instance. So if you're deeply committed, then the rewrite is the answer.
Okay.
And there are many opportunities to go about the rewrite for the support in being successful. So you'll register for the rewrite, but then look on the internet, go for the career advice, look at institutions that offer remedial opportunities in the subject fields that you need to rewrite in order to up that grade. If you do not want to opt for a rewrite, and your career advice is there's different opportunities available, whether it's differentiated degrees or other diplomas or higher certificates, then simply access those fields without going for the rewrite. But if you failed your Matric, my advice is to go for the rewrite. Because it's the quickest way to conclude this phase that needs to be concluded. A grade 12 is an important endorsement of yourself in order to then access the job market and access further studies.
Yeah. Please carry on, yes.
If you're not able to rewrite, if you failed and you're not in a position to rewrite, it's still not the end of the road.
Yes.
There are many institutions similar to ours which have a variety of career paths and learning trajectories to absorb you in and to take you through bridging phases and stepping stones in order to accumulate new knowledges and new skill sets that can serve as part of your recognition of prior learning portfolio in future to still access higher certificates, diplomas, or degrees at a later stage.
Yeah.
So the message I'm sharing is there's no cause for disheartenment. South Africa has the most progressive policies. It's about you accessing these services, visiting the institutions, looking at the opportunities, and with councillors crafting a way forward.
Well, I got to say that with leaders like you at institutions like the one that you head in the way that you do, there's so much inspiration and there's so much hope that you've given to so many out there. So thank you very much for spending the morning with us and infusing that hope within us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And once again, all the best to all of you receiving your results. Tomorrow, we're holding thumbs for you, but as you've heard from Dr. Botha, all is not lost despite whatever that result might be. There's a bright future and an opportunity for everyone out there. Go out and take yours.
Thank you, Kat. And speaking of a bright future, from cool decor and bedroom basics to kitchen essentials, Woolworths has everything you need to set your new dorm up for the new academic year. And stylist and blogger Megan Pedro and her hubby, Chef Clem, they are here to show you and basically to set you up for success as with a transformed space. I love talking homeware, I love talking decor, and it's great to have the Pedros in the house.
Thank you so much.
Megan, let's start off with you. I mean, going back to varsity, perhaps it's a first-year student about to enter res or dormitory. Let's talk about some essentials that they might need.
So what I love is that this is dormitories, your first apartments, just your brand new leaf, right? This is the time that you're turning it over. This is going to be amazing. So we have you set up completely, just for the most stylish foot forward. So if you start, where do we start?
Let's start in the bedroom.
Right. I think the best and easiest way to just kind of elevate your space is through your pillow.
Okay.
Instantly. If you're not having a good night's sleep this year, it's going to be a knock-on effect, right?
Struggle.
Completely.
Yeah.
So we've got an adjustable pillow. Have you ever heard of such magic? Woolies has come up with it. From soft to medium to firm, it's in one pillow.
So there are 3 removable inner pillows, and that's how you adjust. All of them inside will obviously mean firm. Taking 2 out means soft.
Yes.
How amazing is that?
I think that is so great. Depending also on the season, throughout the cycle, if you need, more sleep, less sleep, whatever the case is, it's all in one.
Got a post-nasal drip, you want to be higher, you want to sleep normal, go lower.
So they've got a selection of different pillows, which I think is, that is just a great way to start, and also the microfiber. And then, of course, your bedding.
Yeah.
I think your bedding is always a way to kind of pull in a little bit of color, a little bit of chicness. So there are a ton of various different ones. We've got washed cottons. We've got the most beautiful linen styles. We've got everything's microfiber and really hypoallergenic, which is so important.
So I'm all for white, but if you're moving into your first apartment, maybe then do the white. If you're going to be a university student, go for the bright colors, because chances are you're going to be eating on your bed, you're going to be studying on your bed. You do not want your bedding to show that you've been living on it.
Anything, yes, no, 100%. And also what is so great about these is that you really require very little ironing with this kind of fabric. So I think that's, really kind of great to pull in the different colors and themes. And then we kind of move on to your desk. And I think your desk is such a nice way to kind of play. Don't let it be bland and boring with just your textbooks. There is a selection of beautiful lamps, which I think is such a great way to kind of pull in chicness to your space. And then we've of course got candles, which I think is very, very important.
Also load shedding, very functional.
Very load shedding, exactly. So we've got functional but chic. And then of course, all faux plants. I think that is such a great way to kind of elevate a space instantly, because you're bringing in greenness, you're bringing in freshness without having to look after anything while you're at raise.
That's perfect for any young individual going back to varsity. Now, Megan, before we get to the kitchen essentials, the bathroom's just as important.
Oh, my goodness, absolutely. So these are low twist towels, which is just Woolie's stamp of approval of it's made with 100% cotton. So it's easy, to dry, which that's not something that you need to be worrying about when you're at university at all. So it's just such stunning colors. It's so soft, so cushy. we've got a selection of beautiful accessories. I mean, who doesn't need a bathroom mirror?
A magnifying mirror,
Yes.
of course. And I love that little basket it is in, because if you're going to be staying in res or dormitory, there's communal showers. So you'll need a little caddy to put all your toiletries in.
It's your chic shower caddy.
It is your chic shower caddy. I love that. Let's moving over to the kitchen essentials, because when I stayed in res, I opted to cook for myself.
Okay.
So I needed to have some basics. Some students chose to eat in the dining hall. But Clem, let's talk about some essentials for whether you're going back to varsity or moving into your first apartment.
Just because you've moved out of your mom's house doesn't mean you can eat without placemats.
True.
All right? We got the beautiful straw placemats, and I love them. It's sustainable. We love them, and it's aesthetic as well.
And a dark color is practical,
Yeah.
because someone is bound to spill some food on it.
And again, you use it for more than just food. It's going to just get so many purposes, so many functions in your dorm room, as well as mugs. I feel like sometimes the simplest things that you forget about, a mug. And Woolies have the most beautiful two-tone mugs, and again, it's personalized, individualized, so you know it's yours. I love that. Yes, which one did you grab?
Me time.
Every time is me time.
Every
Yes,
time is me
love that.
time. Happy days, yes, we need that. I love that it's blue for a Monday. And off duty. This is officially my favorite cup.
For the year.
Off duty.
For the year. So also, going with the mug, a kettle. And have it in your dorm room as well. When you need like a bit of coffee, because it's a late study night, get a kettle. And then going with your coffee is your coffee plunger with a bamboo lid. Love them, love them. You don't want to get caught having a coffee craving or needing coffee and everything's closed, or you're like, it's so far for you to travel to get a coffee.
If you have a plunger, you're going to be the coolest person in dorm, because everyone will be able to smell that coffee.
Should be you. Be that person. Be that person. Then storage is everything when you're living in a dorm, because you don't have a lot of space. You have to make it work.
You have to share.
Exactly.
Especially if you have a roommate.
You see, that's why I don't know if I can do this. I mean, this is my only roommate. Like, imagine being back in college. I got a little bit nervous.
I had to adjust to living with a stranger, and it wasn't easy because she was so messy and I was so neat. We came to a compromise that I asked her, please, can we just not have dirty dishes in the house, in the room? And she ended up hiding them behind the curtain.
Okay, she might not be watching. What's her name? Just
No,
give her
no,
first
no,
name.
no, you
Her
can't.
name
No,
is
you
Cindy.
can't.
We're not gonna name and
This is for
shame.
Cindy. This is for Cindy. The stackable storage containers with the lockable lid. Absolutely amazing. The fact that they can stack as well. It's just all about organizing everything, keeping everything in one place. Cindy, this is for you. And the fact that it has a lockable lid as well. Cindy can't get into your snacks. Love that. Okay, so that's, I love these. Absolutely amazing. Then, the 25-piece utility set is my favorite. So
That's everything you need in here.
Everything you need is in this already. And I was gonna say, like, how can we actually store everything? They give you the tray.
Oh, look at that.
They give you the tray. From your spatulas to your spoons to
A pizza cutter, a grater, a bottle opener. Very clever.
Hey, everything's in there already. Then we've got non-stick, the non-stick pans, and we've got two sizes, because sometimes you want a little egg and a little bit of toast, you can do in the pan already. So the two sizes are here. Go non-stick, because it's easier to clean. You don't want to be sitting there scrubbing all night trying to get your pans clean. Non-stick is the way to go. Then there's never been a better time to get an air fryer, especially because the fact that they take up such a little space. You can bake, you can fry, you can grill, you know the whole vibe. Air fryers for the win. You've got something that's in your hand that's my favorite. Absolutely my favorite.
I've got
surface wipes.
Surface wipes.
So when Cindy hides the dishes behind the bed or behind the curtain, there's a little bit of a smell in the room. Surface wipes don't only clean your surface. What we do at home is we run them along the door frame of the door, and it makes the room instantly smell available. Amazing.
That too.
Your room is not available. Absolutely. So, like, there's a few things you can do to get your kitchen in your small little dorm space to be absolutely amazing. Paired with the bathroom and the deskwear and the bedwear, we got you sorted. Go back to school.
Oh, listen, the Pedros and Woolworths have you sorted, from some incredible bathroom basics to game-changing kitchen gadgets. It really is time to give your space a seasonal refresh look. And you can shop these back to varsity essentials at Woolworths. It's in-store, online, as well as on the Woolies app. Happy shopping.
Sensodyne repair and protect with deep repair. The science is pretty amazing. It really goes deep and repairs tooth sensitivity. The science is there. It's going to improve their quality of life in a big way. This is the first thing I recommend.
Summer is a sport we can all win at by unlocking with VodaPay. Like Rajesh, getting 70% off his shopping. Or Tabang, posting YouTube shorts for 31 Saturdays.
I am such a champ right now.
And Normsa, unlocking data and airtime. Chomam. This summer, we are not just players, we are all champions. Unlock your summer with VodaPay and get your share of 500 million rand in cash and rewards. Vodacom.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Let's empower you right now. Dewpoint is a proudly South African business offering all South Africans a simple, a genuine, and an affordable opportunity to create recurring monthly income for themselves. And as they enter their 8th year of operation, we're exploring how they are permanently changing the financial circumstances of South Africans and why we should take them seriously. And here to reconnect and tell us a bit more is Senior Executive and Founder Brendan Benfield. Brendan, welcome back, my friend.
Morning, Graham. Thank you for having me back again.
It's always great to have you here because you're a man on a mission. You're a man on a mission. When we connected with you about 6 months ago, feels like a lifetime ago, you had a very clear goal of wanting to open up this space, empower South Africans with tools that were achievable, attainable, to literally change the course of their lives. Are we winning? Are we losing? How was 2022?
No, absolutely, Graham. We had a fantastic 2022, and by no small part from you guys helping to showcase our business.
Yeah.
But what we have done and what we've seen happening in 2022 is the reality of the promise that we were making, that we made here. Yeah. We said we're going to make monthly recurring income for South Africans. That's exactly what we saw happening last year. And it's actually fantastically coincidental that this morning you're talking about Matric results. If we look at what's happening in our economy, we've got all of these matriculants coming out, hundreds of thousands, into our economy where there are no jobs for them. There's absolutely no jobs for them. And that is where Dewpoint is stepping into the sort of the abyss right now.
And you are creating this beautiful, I use the term ecosystem because I think far too often we live in lanes and only that guy has access to wealth because he's generating wealth, and long-term sustainable wealth is something that most of us don't even think about from a South African context. You've changed that narrative by providing tools that are simple and accessible. How are you guys changing the game? How have you made it so open and I don't want to say easy because that implies that it's just a simple thing. It requires commitment. I understand this, but you have just changed the way that we see this entry point. How have you done this?
Well, absolutely. One of the very important things to sort of remember about Dew Point, Graham, is that it is actually for everyone. You don't have to have a special set of skills. You don't have to have a particular education. What we're trying to do is put back in the hands of South Africans the ability to create income. Because if they create income, people start to find meaning and worth in themselves. Over the last 7 years, we've seen tens of thousands of South Africans being able to build an income where they couldn't before, but more importantly, an income they own. You see, when you move into employment, you don't own your income. Tomorrow, your job is gone. If we look at the South African context, it's a daily event that people are losing their jobs. Yeah, exactly. Whereas with Dew Point, you're able to build an asset that's yours, and that asset produces a monthly income for you.
I absolutely love it. You use the term wealth engineer, and that speaks to using a set of tools and enhancing your skills as you progress in this journey. What do we need to have in place to start? Who do we connect with? How much does it cost? What is that launching pad to become a wealth engineer?
Well, absolutely. So we've said it last time, I'm going to say it again. Currently, it's 249 Rand to be a wealth engineer with us. A completely negligible amount.
That's like pet insurance.
Absolutely. If you just look at what happens to the petrol price on a weekly basis, that's killing your 249.
Sure.
The 249 is probably costs you less than actually being an employee. Your cost of driving to your job, and that's going to cost you more.
Sure,
249 to get in, and what we then do for you is we put you in a position with a tool to create an income with. This is the thing that allows all South Africans to come to us, because we actually equip you nationwide. 24 hours a day, you're able to build this income with us. And I'm repeating that because it's really important for South Africans to notice and know that you have another option. In South Africa today, most South Africans are starting to lose hope. That's what we see. When people come in our doors, people have lost hope in the economy that we have. We're bringing that hope back. And by equipping them, we're starting to get them to settle their debts, to build savings that they've never had before. Last year in particular, we had people come to us. You can see their stories on our Facebook pages saying, I've settled debt and I've started creating savings for the first time in my life.
You must know what that feels like.
Exactly.
You must know.
From a lot of individuals who've been employed and who haven't been employed before, all of them are in a position now to make a change for themselves.
And that means a change for their family, that means a change for their children, for generations to come. I'm going to become a wealth engineer just because I love the sound of it so much. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Incidentally, he didn't do so well in Matric, and look what he's doing now. Okay, so take that away from this. There is an opportunity for you to change your reality no matter how much pressure you are under. It takes that first step, and that first step is at dewpoint.net. Go and ask them questions. Go and check out their Facebook situation. There is so much interactive elements there that you can really delve into. Buddy, thank you so much. You've inspired me ahead of 2023. Hopefully this has got you thinking about how you can recraft your own financial journey and become a wealth engineer.
The time has just gone 8 o'clock, and a time to reflect on the news headlines of the morning. On the national news front, police in the Northwest Province have confirmed the death of a 47-year-old man who was mauled to death by 2 dogs in Bloemhof on Monday afternoon. Now, police spokesperson Afje Botma said the man was on foot when the dogs allegedly broke free through a hole in the fence of their yard and attacked him. It is reported that they bit him in the neck and he succumbed at the scene. Police are investigating and awaiting post-mortem results. The dogs were then removed by the Kimberley SPCA after the incident. In other news, the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, has announced that 1,451 people died on the country's roads over the festive period. This is a decrease of 13.9% compared to the same period last year, when 1,685 road deaths were reported. Now, there was also a 6.5% decrease in fatal collisions. Mbalula also said that road accidents involving pedestrians were a major source of concern. Pedestrians accounted for 41% of total road deaths during the festive period, compared to 31% the previous year. Taking a look at international headlines this morning, in a surprise development, the head of Ethiopia's Supreme Court, Meaza Ashenafi, and her deputy, Solomon Arida, have resigned. No reason has so far been given. Judge Meaza, a former women's rights activist, was appointed Supreme Court president in 2018 in a move that was seen as a testament to the reformist agenda of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed when he took office. Now, in the late 1980s and early 90s, she was a judge in Ethiopia's High Court. And later, she founded the Ethiopian Women Lawyers Association to help women in need of legal advice. China's population has decreased for the first time in 60 years, with the national birth rate hitting a record low 6.77 births per 1,000 people. The population in 2022, 1.411 billion, fell by some 850,000 from 2021. Now, China's birth rate has been declining for years, prompting a slew of policies to slow the trend, but it has now entered what one official described as an era of negative population growth. Meanwhile, in India, which is poised to overtake China as the world's most populous country, the national birth rate last year was 16.42 per 1,000 people. And finally, entrepreneurial 39-year-old Ndibuo Sikweta of Chitavadulu village near Louis Trichardt in Limpopo has started a fish farming project that could provide employment for unemployed youths. The project, still in its infancy stage, aims to lift fellow villagers from the predicament of poverty. Now, Sikweta has dug 7 ponds in which he raises various types of fish, such as catfish, Mozambican tilapia, and 3-pot barb along the banks of the local Lutandandwa River in the Limpopo province. The ponds also supply water to some community members, but Sikweta says that a lack of funds is an issue. And he adds, quote, "I was motivated by my desire to assist the local community. Those ponds are a great help because I purify the water for people to use." Community member Bridget Lubengo says that their village has no water, but Sikweta uses his purifying pump to transfer water for them to drink, to wash in, and to irrigate with. And they are deeply grateful to him, Bridget says. And he is hoping that news spreading about this wonderful project will inspire those who can help to do so to help uplift that community. Well, that's it for the news at 8 o'clock. Right now, let's take a last look at the world of sports. Here comes Graham.
Thanks so much, Kat, for that little dose of inspiration. Let's dive right in with cricket dominating the local scene at the moment because the CSA's prime project has lifted off. And we love the SA20. The Joburg Super Kings bounced back from 2 successive defeats to beat the high-flying Pretoria Capitals by 6 runs. So needing 169 to claim the spoils and scored 10 in that final over, the Capitals finished on 162 all out. Aaron Pangiso was the star with the ball taking 4 wickets, while Eliud Ploy, he top scored with 75 not out. And before that, Evan Jones took 4 wickets and Bian Lubber scored 57 as the Paarl Royals beat out the Durban Supergiants by 10 runs in their encounter. And staying with cricketing news, Sine Lewis will captain the Proteas women team up, and that's ahead of this month's T20 Tri-Series against India and the West Indies. So CSA have announced a pretty strong 17-player squad that will take part in the Tri-Series, set to take place from the 19th of this month to the 2nd of January in East London. The Proteas women will be using this Tri-Series, obviously, as preparation before they host next month's ICC Women's T20 World Cup. That gets underway from the 10th of February. Some stalwarts in the mix: Chloe Tehran, Marzan Kapp, Shabnim Ishmael, and Laura Wolfart, all named in that squad. Then on to Formula One, it's still off, it seems. Formula One will have 23 races this season, still a record and one more than last year, but the sport will be facing a 4-week gap in April after deciding not to replace the cancelled Chinese Grand Prix. So the race in Shanghai, originally scheduled for the 16th of April as the 4th of 24 rounds this year, was axed last month for the 4th year in a row due to strict local measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. The 2023 calendar features the return of Qatar in October and a debut night race in Las Vegas in November. It's going to be a scene stealer, I'm sure. And of course, a bolstered up sprint roster with 6 sprint weekends now. Then finally, on to the year's first tennis Grand Slam. Great to have him back in the mix. Novak Djokovic swept past Spain's Roberto Carvalhas Baena to launch his bid for a 10th Australian Open title. The 35-year-old, who was banned from last year's tournament, of course, showed few signs of the hamstring niggle that he picked up in Adelaide earlier this month as he raced to a 6-3, 6-4 and 6-love win. Then Andy Murray rolled back the years, looked back to his best, and he saved a match point to beat Matteo Berrettini 6-3, 6-3, 4-6, 6-7, and 7-6 in a near 5-hour slog. Then on the women's side of the draw, second seed Ons Jabeur did make slightly hard work of her match up against Tamara Zerancek, and eventually winning that one 7-6, 4-6, and 6-1. Well, that's a wrap of your sport for this Wednesday morning. Before you head out to work, let's get to another traffic update and then see what the weather has in store. It's going to be hot today, no doubt.
Well, let's first look at your roads. In Nelstroom, Limpopo, there's been a fatal accident with trucks on the N1 route at Modimolle. Now, please give way to emergency vehicles and use an alternative route, as there will be some delays. Then in Randburg, Johannesburg, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the N1 northbound after the 14th Avenue. The right lane is closed and you can expect heavy delays. And in Old Oak in Cape Town, there's an accident on the N1 outbound. It's on the R300 and the left lane is closed and you can expect some delays. Also add some extra travel time on your journey this morning. Well, that's a wrap of your roads. Let's take a final look at your weather. And we start with weather. The South African Weather Services warns of extremely high fire danger conditions, and this is expected over the northern and central parts of the Northern Cape. A heat wave with persistently high temperatures is expected over the northeastern parts of the Eastern Cape until today, but it will persist until tomorrow in KwaZulu-Natal. And meanwhile, on the flip side, the Russian city of Yakutsk would be breaking all records this year, as the temperatures is expected to dip as low as minus 62 degrees Celsius. It's located some 5,000 kilometers east of Moscow. This Siberian city is known as the coldest on Earth. However, it's not there that there's no summer. In fact, it also holds the record as the world's coldest city. It is also one of the greatest variations in temperatures. In summer, temperatures can rise to over 40 degrees Celsius. Some interesting news over there. Well, let's take a final look at those sunrise views that you share with us. And kicking us off for our 8 a.m. update is Blanche Benjamin, who shared another beautiful orange-inspired sunrise before heading back home after a wonderful holiday. And Sandy in Durban enjoying a stroll and a fresh breeze on the pier before heading out to work. Yusuf in Johannesburg showcased such a magnificent photo between the branches and leaves nearing a violet-filled day. And last up, we have Tian, who shared this flawless view in Franschhoek at the Berg River while out exploring Mother Nature. This photo is absolutely stunning. Well, if you have a sunrise view that you'd love to share with us, please do so on 063-408-8863. Let's get into today's temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, your low is 16, your high is 29. Mbombela 19, 29. Pretoria 18, 31. Johannesburg, a low of 17, a high of 34 today. Mahikeng 20 with a high of 32. Klerksdorp 19, 34. Sunny in Kimberley, 21's your low, 37 your high. Bloemfontein 17, 35. Richards Bay 25 with a high of 36. Pietermaritzburg 21, 36. Durban 24 with a high of 32. If you're in Mthatha, sunny is expected, a low of 21, a high of 36. East London 24 reaching a high of 30. Cradock 19 with a high of 40 for today. Gqeberha, your low is 22, your high 28. Some thunder showers for George, 20 is your low, 28 your high. Cape Town, cooler with some rain, a low of 18, a high of 24. Worcester 16, 37. Sutherland, your low is 15, your high 31, and a hot day for Uppington with a low of 24 and a high of 41 degrees Celsius. Well, that's your weather and your traffic on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
What a day! What a day it's looking out to be.
Take this off.
We got some rain here. I'm feeling sorry for all the people out in Uppington. Eh? That's just craziness.
Stay hydrated, please, please.
All right, well, good news though. It is time to unlock your 100% in 2023.
Yes.
We're talking new year, new me, new mindset, new job opportunities. Yes, of course, you've heard it all. But it is the perfect time now to start thinking about your 100% prospects for the new year. And while many people might have taken the time to take a break in the December and January period and enjoying their holidays, these months can be an excellent time to also start thinking about what you'd like to unlock in 2023.
You're not going to achieve the goal if you haven't set the goal. You've got to have a true north. Now, Crush is bringing you a brilliant new TV show on SABC2, hosted by the best in the business. He's unlocked his 100%, Mr. Raul Demone, and he is going to help you unlock your 100%.
Yep.
So let's meet the first of these amazing contestants.
Yeah, contestant number one is Kagiso Moja, and she's a young, inspiring woman with a dream of becoming a professional baker. There she is. Hey, Hewen, bona. Robot.
She's got TikTok covered. Sorted.
She's got it. She's got it. The vibe is there. So I'm thinking not just baker, but baker into a TV show host.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to have 5 side hustles now that become one major hustle. I love it. So let's see who she's up against. We've got contestant 2, Rafika Daniels, a young mother and former engineering student who dreams of launching her own modest fashion brand.
Absolutely. Loving that. So Crush will be helping them to unlock their 100% and follow their dreams. And it's a brilliant, brilliant thing. I love the concept of this show that inspires people to go, actually, show us your biggest dream.
Yeah.
Let's try and help you to achieve.
Let's unlock it, because that all that's required is just that key moment, that right person, that mentor. Now you've got a whole program mentoring you, a whole support structure, and of course, Ryle there to guide you through it. And as I said, he's done it. He's living proof of what you can do when you truly unlock your 100%.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on the Unlock Your 100% with Crush TV show coming soon to your screens on the 1st of February at 7:30 on SABC2.
It's The Crush. Unlock your 100% TV show. Catch all the excitement as we unlock Crush fans' full potential to live their dreams. Watch the show on SABC2 starting on the 1st of February every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Plus, you stand a chance to win your share of thousands of prizes. Simply buy any Crush and follow the pack for entry details. Crush, 100% goodness.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, South Africa, to the third installment of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting! So we've already prepared like an amazing, colorful spread, as you can see. I'm going to put together a risotto, but not with the boreal rice. I'm going to be using some bulgur wheat. Now, risotto is amazing, but you can use any other grain like a buckwheat, a barley, and like we're using today, some bulgur wheat. Super easy, super delicious. But before we get started, we've got those voice notes. Let's have a listen.
Let's have a listen.
Good morning, Team Expresso. It's Natalie Daniels here again from Fit Mom. So one of my favorite snacks is a homemade granola or muesli from one of my colleagues, Claire Daniels. And I love having it for breakfast at the office, and I also love having it during the day. So just literally nibbling on it. And then I've got our back to school little one here. So Levi, what's your favorite snack of the day?
In the morning, I like scrambled eggs with spice and juice. And then for a snack, I like fruit salad.
And yes, he loves his fruit. So back to school and back to healthy snacks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Levi with the spice on the scrambled egg. I love that.
So
Kids that
adorable.
love spice are absolutely amazing.
And fruit salad, how cute as well. You can just imagine it's actually such great healthy food already. And I was loving the homemade granola, because the reality is a lot of store-bought granolas can contain a lot of sugar and other additives. But when you make your own from scratch, you can add like all beautiful seeds and nuts and bits of dried fruit in there. So you can really make it what you want, and it is definitely going to be a healthier version. You can have it as a trail snack. Like she said, she eats it during the day. Perfect.
That 3 o'clock slump.
Oh,
The
I always
granola.
need something in the afternoon.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me get cracking here. I've got some leeks in the pot, a little bit of olive oil,
Am I
salt,
cutting
and
some
pepper.
garlic for you?
Garlic. So I like a lot of garlic. So you got 4 cloves in front of you. Those are big ones.
They are.
So it's gonna have like a nice garlicky kick to it as well. Once your leeks are soft, and always wash your leeks, because you never know if there's like a little bit of sand in there.
Agree. You always find those little specks. Totally have to wash them. Yeah.
So give it a good wash and then get it into the pot. Once they soften, not brown, we're gonna add our bulgur wheat in. And we're going to toast it like we would normally toast our risotto rice. So you just want to get the oils and the leaky flavors into the bulgur wheat. And then once it's super shiny and coated, I say once it's all coated, you can see the shine on them, then you can go in with, we're being naughty, but it's fine. Again, a little bit of white wine, a little bit. The flavor is amazing.
Totally.
And like you said, the flavor cooks out. I mean, the alcohol cooks out. And you get left with that beautiful flavor. So that's going to go into the pot. A little bit does do a lot, so a little bit, just for the flavor.
Yes,
but it's optional. You don't have to add that wine in it. Once that wine's completely evaporated, and it's like, I mean, it should be dry in the pot, we can start adding our stock. So I've got a mushroom stock, and I love mushrooms.
Lovely. All that good umami flavor.
A lot of umami, like a nice meaty flavor.
Yes.
We're not intentionally going meat-free today. We just actually, there's quite a lot of veggie options that we're adding to this dish.
Yeah.
So like a risotto, we add it a little bit at a time. And you got to stir. You want to release the starch from your grain. So we're going to add that through.
How these garlic, this chopped garlic looking? I know it's a little bit chunky.
You know, chunky is good. Chunky is good. You can add
Can I add it? Wow, it smells amazing already. Those leeks are gorgeous.
And garlic, I love garlic. So like I said, I add a lot of garlic to my dishes.
So good for you as well.
Especially if you're going to cook it for a while, you cook that pungent garlic flavor out.
Definitely.
So a lot's fine. It's all good.
Yes.
So while we keep on stirring, keep on adding our stock, I believe we have another voice note. So let's have a listen to see who we've got on the line.
Hey everyone, hello. My favorite healthy snack is plain yogurt with raisins and strawberry with honey and lemon on top.
I like using honey as a sweetener in general.
Agreed.
So, I mean, it's also quite nice because I always say that honey is actually acidic. So when we add lemon to food to brighten flavors, adding a bit of honey does the same thing. It adds that sweetness, adds aroma, and a little bit of acidity to lift the food. I love honey, especially like sourced from your area. I think it's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. We've got such beautiful local honeys as well. I love using honey in a salad dressing. So just a bit of lemon juice, honey, olive oil, and there you go. A little bit of mustard sometimes as well. But honey's so versatile, like you say, especially if you're doing like rooibos ginger teas, soothing for sore throat. It's just such a great ingredient.
Absolutely. So often we get performers coming into the studio, you'll see them kind of like just having like tablespoons of honey before they sing. I agree. And there's also this rumor, I wonder if it's a rumor or if it's true, but if you suffer from hay fever, if you actually have the honey that's produced in your area, obviously from the bees collecting pollen from the flowers.
I've heard that too. I mean, I would love to know how true it is. I definitely partake in that belief because I try anything to reduce hay fever.
Oh, touch wood, because I've not had any hay fever issues yet. Oh,
yes.
So we know honey.
Springtime is always a hard time. But those beautiful feinboss honeys, always go for those.
Love that, absolutely. So I've got a question for you, Amy.
Yes.
If someone's looking to start eating healthier, getting into like a healthier lifestyle, what advice do you have for them?
So I think there are a couple of basics that apply to everyone because we have to bear in mind that we all have slightly different lifestyles, slightly different bodies, different routines, different exercise perhaps. But the main things that you can always focus on, are you drinking enough water? Because when you drink enough water, then you don't get those like cravings potentially. You feel more alert. Getting enough sleep is the biggest thing. I know you asked about food, but the thing is when you're deprived of sleep, you start to then crave sugary foods, fatty foods, fast foods and things like that because your body's under a state of stress and it hasn't, restored properly. Just in terms of what we spoke about earlier this morning, starting your day with a bit of protein, it really sets you up for a successful day because it lessens your chance of having those cravings later on because you've had a good breakfast to start your day off. And now again, people are different. They've got different routines and lifestyles. I generally exercise in the morning, so for me it is quite important to have a good breakfast afterwards. Some people enjoy exercising at night. Then again, to have that protein within that hour frame after exercise is quite important. Make sure you're eating the rainbow. It's a really easy way to make sure that you're getting all those different nutrients in. Great salads, lots of veggies. We know that our plates need to have more of that as well. So those are your basics.
I love that, especially the sleep part. So very quickly, if I'm going to stock my pantry with a few healthy food essentials and fridge maybe, what would you suggest?
Okay, so I think top 5 pantry ingredients that I always have, without a doubt. So can olive oil count as one?
Oh, yes.
Because use it in everything. It's beautiful, so healthy for you on salads with your roast like we did earlier. Then I always have chickpeas. So versatile, I make my own hummus. You can toast them to make them crunchy. You can add them into curries. You can do like beautiful stews with them. So chickpeas, super easy. Black beans like we had earlier because I love like Mexican style foods. You can also like have them in the shakshuka when you make a, let's say like a veggie, what do you call it? So it's not the corn, it's a chili con bean or something.
Oh, I love that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Tins of tomatoes. You can put them in anything. Roasts, again, your curries, your stews, that kind of thing. It's always handy to have tomatoes lying around. And I always keep quinoa as well because for me it's quite a nice, healthy addition. It's a seed, not really a grain, but we use it in the same way to bulk up your salads and things like that. In the fridge, we spoke about lemons earlier. It'll brighten any dish. So love using lemons for everything. Always have baby spinach because I like to add it to smoothies. I like to add it to breakfast dishes like we put in our frittata. Like to add it to salads. So it's a green leaf that works really hard and it's packed with nutrients. I feel like I'm running out of time. Tomatoes.
No, you got it. And I like that it's not major big transformations. It's things that you can you're familiar with.
Exactly.
Just small changes.
Yes.
Amy, you've done it. Thank you
Pleasure,
so
good to
much
meet
for
you.
being here. The dishes are amazing. South Africa, you were amazing with your voice notes. Thank you so much for being with us today in the kitchen. And thank you, Amy. We're back again next week for another episode of the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting, ting, ting!
Get in my belly.
Come on.
With that deliciousness.
Yeah, who said healthy food ain't delicious? Absolutely love it. Thank you, Ames. Thank you, Clemmy, baby. We love you. Now, when it comes to our loved ones, of course, we always want what's best for them. And if you are aiming to support the health of your entire family, focusing on gut health is one of the best and most important things you can do. Good digestive health is important for everyone, no matter what phase of life, and lowering the risk of developing diseases or disorders now in the future. It's the ultimate preventative measure that you can take to protect especially your kids.
Absolutely. We do know that improving gut health also supports the well-being of your family, naturally so, which is why it is so important to bring the good back. Let's take a look.
Bring the good back.
We're bringing good back. Yeah.
I love it,
But
man.
I mean, if you think about it, it is so important. You were talking about, you know, helping your young ones develop good and healthy gut health, because it's like an entire environment in there that serves to make sure that all of the food that you eat transfers all of the healthy nutrients out your body. Exactly, that you get the most out of your food, out of everything that you're putting into your body to keep it healthy. So it all starts there.
And the immune system, I think as kind of relatively fresh parents, that's always been a big eye-opener, is how the gut speaks to overall well-being. And it starts with building your immune system. And that critical early phase, that foundation phase, is where it needs to start. So I think if you can make it your family's goal to start with the gut as your basis point and let your health emanate out of there, you're winning at life.
Wonderful. Now, we asked you at home on our social media pages what your gut-related issues are that you have experienced. And here is what you shared with us so far. Tanya Mostert says heartburn, heartburn, heartburn. That seems to be quite a thing over there. Rosalind says bloating, stomach cramps, constipation, been going on for almost 2 years now, which kind of shows just how serious it can be and that discomfort that causes throughout your day.
And I think people get so used to it that they just accept that this is a part of life. And it really does not have to be. It really doesn't.
Yeah, so we are bringing good bacteria back into your gut. Come on. And of course, to help you rebalance your gut, to help your gut to function in the way that it was designed to. Now, probiotics are daily supplements that help support your gut health. So you can speak to your healthcare professional, your doctor, or pharmacist about Probiflora, Adcock Ingram's probiotic. And remember, there are many probiotics, but only one Probiflora brand.
Now, it is time to win with Probiflora, and you stand the chance of winning. Get this, a 1,000 Rand Take-A-Lock voucher. All you have to do is reply to the post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages, and then share what your self-care must-have tip is. And we speak so much about looking after yourself, so you must have picked up some gems. Don't forget to include that hashtag, Bring the Good Back. And this week's competition closes on Friday, the 20th of January at midday. But you can find all the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Good luck.
Gotta get it.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. Now, as the pandemic panic winds down and the economic concerns linger, how we think about our space will really shift accordingly in 2023. Now, since our homes have become our sanctuary, it's only fitting that we style them in a way that brings us joy amid some uncertain times. Now, Daniela Conti is a seasoned interior design architect, and with her sound advice, we'll be discussing some of the freshest aesthetic trends for 2023. Daniela, it's great to have you here.
Hi, Zoe. Thank you so much for having me.
I love talking decor trends. I've recently done some renovations myself, so I'm here to absorb all the knowledge you're willing to depart.
Okay, let's go.
Now, I know that there's been a big trend on minimalism, but I see or hear maximalism is also making a turn. What are some of the basic principles when it comes to maximalism, and how will we see that grow this year?
So as the word says, maximalism, we are expressing maximum. It's really where there are no limits and there's no specific genre, There's no specific design style to maximalism. The important thing is for you, as the person curating the space, to be at the center of it. So it's really bringing the you into your space. So it can be any line of look, and it's mixed up, it's texture, it's pattern, it's a lot of pattern play, and there's something in the design world called now the fifth wall, which is the ceiling.
Oh,
so we're even considering decorating the ceiling. It's a very decorated look. It's got a lot of layers, and it really must speak about who you are as the person. Maximalism. Maxing it out.
Maxing it out. I love that. But at the point where, like you said, you need to be at the center of it.
Exactly.
Now, we have spoken, you've touched briefly on the ceiling, which I find very, very interesting. But color is something that I think the ordinary eye always relates to. I know the world is moving away from neutrals, your grays and your blues, to more earth tones, your browns, your creams, your whites. Talk to me about how that shift is taking place.
Okay, well, it's an antithesis, right? Because you've got maximalism on the one side, and then on the other side, you've got these earth tones. So it's a very grounding time just on the planet now for everybody to be quite reflective. Okay. And the earth tones really allow us to do that. They also, with the whites and the beiges and all those very neutral tones, they allow us to set a palette. Okay. So you've got a plain blank canvas to then populate with all the bits that are going to be you expressing what your personality is. So it's a kind of meditative, calm environment that you want to start with and build on that. Yeah, build on that.
Well, we did say your home is your sanctuary, and you mentioned textures. Texture is going to be super important. What do they mean by texture? Because I know you can get your velvets, you get your your different cottons, but I think the world is also moving in a direction where we are very conscious of the environment.
Yes. Exactly. So digital printing has radically changed how we see nature in our homes, because you can literally print on any surface and you can photograph something from nature, whether it's a skin or whether it's a texture in a leaf, and you can really blow it up. So all of a sudden we're living with huge patterns that we actually would not be seeing on our ordinary day-to-day life because they're microscopic, really. So that's really brought texture in a new way. I mean, we've always had it in carpets and wallpapers and, just like you say, velvet and feeling things. But now you actually, there's a visual texture. There's an extra layer on top of what we're seeing.
Oh, well, we are adding to the maximalism, the layers on top of the layers. Now, Danella, for someone that wants to, spruce up their space, it's January, we all like to, do something new in the house to just feel fresh. How can we do that, especially keeping in mind that there's a lot of uncertainty happening in the economy? Life is expensive, so we do not want to break the bank, but we want our space to reflect the new things that we want.
Yeah, we want to do it inexpensively and easily. So the best thing to start with is to declutter. Okay. To basically get rid of things that you're either holding on to because a relative gave it to you and it must be in the corner, or just something you bought as an impulse buy but you're not loving it anymore. It's not resonating for you anymore. So clear out your space, declutter. Then paint is the obvious. It adds a splash of color. I always like plants. Plants bring outside in and they just give a calm. So you could take a corner of your room and I would do something quite large and then around it smaller plants. So it's not just a plant in the corner, it's actually a whole area that's green, to just give you that new focus. And then you can obviously reshape your room, play around with how your room was set out, put a rug under one area,
move the furniture
around, new scatter cushions. Are a great way to very inexpensively add that layer of luxury, where you just get home and you kind of plonk onto your couch and there's new cushions to feel good. So, those are not crazy investment buys to bring in a new life.
Well, we are very excited. Danelle's not going anywhere. She is from DC Design Inc. And of course, stick around. She's going to show us how you can spruce up your wardrobe, so you do not want to miss out on that.
Well, here's another good reason for you to stick around to your Feel Good Breakfast show. Another stunning performance coming up now. This next song, originally done by Etta James, has been a song that's been covered by greats like Beyonce and Celine Dion. And now we have Alba V in the studio performing her version of this timeless classic, At Last.
when you smile. Oh, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven. For you are mine, and
Let's go! That's absolutely amazing. Oh, that was wonderful. And I hope that you at home enjoyed that. Let us know what you thought about that beautiful performance of that timeless classic, as I said, at last. Alba V on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Give it up! Come on!
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show. Welcome back. We are continuing our design talk, and whether you're doing a New Year's design refresh on your home or looking to add extra space to attract potential home buyers, chic and uncluttered closets are key when it comes to making a big impression. Daniela Conti is a seasoned interior design architect, and her sound advice, we will be discussing some of the freshest ways that you can really spruce up intimate spaces for 2023. Donella, welcome back.
Thank you, Zoe.
I'm very excited for this because you're going to show us how we can really spruce up our wardrobe. I think that's the one place, you make the effort to organize it, and then you're in a rush, and before you know it, all that organization goes out the door. Where do we start?
That's exactly it. In the morning when you're getting ready for work and you've got to quickly grab, you want to kind of be organized.
Yes.
So you've got to declutter.
Declutter.
I mean, that's the first thing. And clothing has to be seasonal. So I would take whatever is not part of the season, pack it away in a jumbo container, stick it in your garage, stick it at the top of a cupboard, and declutter to start.
Label it so you don't forget about it.
So you don't forget about it, and then that also leaves less on your rail. So it leaves more space to page through your clothing. Okay. So decluttering is key. And then secondly, keep things out that you really love. So I tend to go to the stores, I walk around, I get inspired by what I'm seeing. I can't buy everything. So I go back to my closet and I try and emulate what's there and organize it so that, you feel on trend and things are happening and you buy a few key pieces.
Oh, fantastic.
That's what we start with, decluttering.
Well, let's get practical because we've got a railing of clothing here in front of you. How can we declutter or perhaps rearrange this rail?
Okay, so as you can see, it's just everything's a mishmash. So I like to color block, so we'd put colors together like that. Obviously, the same type of garment together is also obvious. Wintry things, these would be packed away now, right? Because we definitely don't need any knitwear.
We don't need them occupying the cupboard right now.
Definitely don't need any knitwear. So once you've kind of got a color blocking thing, I absolutely love these hangers.
They are fantastic. They are space savers.
Space savers, because they're very narrow and they actually hold silky clothes on. They never fall off.
Nothing
so this
slips
is a
off.
good investment. That's what you need. And then things like pants don't need to be taking up valuable real estate in the cupboard. So I like to roll them. Gents, ladies, pants, whatever, really. It works really well, and that way you can just put them sideways on your shelf.
Oh.
So you can kind of make a little pyramid.
Oh, so when you need a pair of pants, you can just pull it out. Nothing's going to tumble. Nothing's gonna
and you'll see they also, if you roll them, they don't crease.
Yeah.
Because
pants is one of those things when you're trying to make space in your cupboard, you put a jacket over the hanger, and then you forget about that.
And then you forget that they're there. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
definitely roll them, so we'll set that aside.
Yeah.
And then how else can we spruce up our cupboard?
So these are just really useful items that you can pretty much find everywhere. These are really great for socks, great for underwear. That's always like the messiest drawer, right?
Yes.
And especially if you're showing your house, or like you say, you want to have people around just as a potential buyer. You don't want to be opening cupboards and it's like everything's falling out. So these just hold things in place. I also like to seasonally, these are very useful. So I also pack away a lot of stuff I'm not going to be wearing and bring out stuff I want to wear, because it just makes that morning rush so much easier. So you can kind of organize hair accessories, jewelry in one place and put it even on a shelf or in a drawer, and there's just less stuff. Makes it easier to choose.
Less clutter, and
Less
it's just
clutter.
easy accessible. I love that you also go through your things. You pack away the things that would be used for winter, putting, obviously, because we're in summer, the fresher things up front. But also when winter comes around, you're very excited to now see the things you haven't seen in a while.
It's like you've shopped in your own closet. It's like you take it out and it's all fresh and new.
Oh.
No, I do. I love it. You just have to find the time to do it.
You definitely need to set some time aside. So for those who probably wants to do this on a very inexpensive way but stay trendy, have you got any tips?
Well, to pack things away obviously is the best. And then when you're out and you're buying, you kind of know what you need because you've been through it to pack it away.
Yeah.
So you kind of do a pre-store look around, then go pack your stuff away and go like, okay, I'm going to need a jacket.
Yeah.
Or I need a nice, beach caftan. And it just minimizes that feeling when you're out of having to buy everything.
And I love that you color blocked the clothing, because something I noticed is I had, for some bizarre reason, 4 green and the same green dresses.
Yes.
So now I know it's a color my eye always falls to. So when I'm in a store, I'm like, you don't need another green dress. You've got enough.
Yeah.
So definitely
Exactly. Organizing.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Donella, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much.
Be sure to stay up to date with her at DC Design Inc. And of course, hopefully you got some great tips to spruce up your 2023.
Well, now that your home decor ideas are all sorted, let's make a classic that the kids will love coming home to after these hot days. You know, when those kids come home all sweaty from school and huffing and puffing, dirty, they'll be craving a snack to help them cool off after a long, hot day of activity. And our delicious and creamy classic custard fruit popsicles come with a hack. And the kids can have them, they can do them themselves. It's that easy. And the results, delicioso, beautiful, creamy, delicious.
So now, when we say the kids can do it themselves, let's prove it. Okay?
Yes,
let's prove it. We're going to do it ourselves.
We're basically the kids.
Really simple, really easy, inspired by seasonal fruits. I think is always the way to go when creating anything like this. Make use of what's really on offer at the moment. And when I say on offer, there are so many great specials around delicious stone fruit, around berries, and of course, you know, you're getting the nutrients in there as well. And then we are cleverly disguising it as a custard popsicle, which is beautiful. So you're going to be doing the chopping. And I'm thinking we obviously need to factor in that the pieces of fruit need to be kind of dispersed within our little container. Yeah.
So first things,
your vibe, your style.
I'll give it a rustic chop, but kind of like, I like fine pieces.
Okay.
You know?
It's your popsicle,
kind of
baby.
You know what I mean?
Your popsicle.
Pop
you
it
do
your
what
way.
You want. Yeah.
So I'll kind of give it a bit of a fine chop. Not too...
And the joy of this is you will have some surplus custard over to just keep you going through the cooking process, so, or the freezing process, because it can be quite trying for a young person to have to wait for something to freeze before they get to enjoy it. So if you've got the spoils to share...
Make it during the day as well, while they're away. Like that, you know?
Good,
something
man.
like that.
Your knife work is just, it's come on leaps and bounds, man.
This is, it really has. Beautiful. There we go. Okay, are we going to pop that in the bowl? And then scoop it into...
And then we're going to be just dispersing it. So while you're busy chopping up the rest of our fruit, and we've got a little bit of strawberry and... No, just keep it like that.
Decanting into the bowl as...
I'm going to put them straight. Okay, cool. So we can ensure even distribution of our beautiful fruit. So this is one of the little hacks within the hack. When we've got our little cartons here, and the classic custard mini cartons are amazing for lunch boxes in themselves. Really, really nice. But here's the deal. So when you want to cut these open to create the container that's going to kind of shape the mold, essentially, it's just a little bit of a hole. Then you're going to need to pour out about a quarter or of a third, which I wasn't able to do the first time I tried. But I'm going to try. Oh, there we go. Now you begin to understand my pain.
The kids can do it.
Well, look, when kids are involved, it can get a little bit messy, which is part of the fun, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've got enough out of there. Then you proceed to cut out the rest.
Excellent. And of course, the beautiful thing, Clover Classic Custard is versatile to use, and the 200ml pack size is perfect for those lunch boxes we've just heard. So let the kids get crafty and help themselves to these custard and fruit popsicles by using the box as a popsicle mold, as we're about to show you right now.
Yeah, easy peasy.
The strawberries.
Nailed it that time. Well done.
Did you?
G? Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one. The kids are safe. Okay. We've also got a tangerine. I forgot about that one.
Our nectarine.
Nectarine. The tangerine is more orange.
Tangerine if you want. You can put whatever you want in here.
At least it's not a gnocchi.
It's not a gnocchi. A gnocchi is nice, but no to the gnocchi today, my friend.
Okay. Let's see. I'll just chop it.
Okay, you chop a little bit more. I'm going to a little rope it up here and start with our raspberries.
I would have some blueberries in here as well for a variation of color.
And the blueberries are quite tart, which is nice. So I think that's going to really balance out the creaminess.
Wait, what's tartness again?
It's like sour. It's like
okay. That did a ding ding.
Not quite sour, but it's a
Just carry on with it. The soundtrack to me chopping these strawberries.
That's what the strawberries would be saying. So I'm going to scoop a couple of these little guys.
Good. I think you should have enough of that. Yeah, I'll pass these over to that side.
Up done yourself, and now our beautiful fresh nectarine. This is great. So you can go through kind of the flavor profile. You've got the strawberry, which is probably a little bit more neutral. Nectarine, which hopefully is nice and sweet around this time of the year.
That's a bit of a challenge there, buddy. How are we going to get you out of there?
I was thinking about this in my own head. I was thinking, like, do the cut around.
I tried.
Did you try to do the Samson? Oh, there we go.
It needed a bit of a gentle touch.
I'm going to use my stick to distribute the fruit evenly throughout.
Oh, goodness. These are beautiful, so soft.
Ripe, eh?
And tender.
That's going to bring the sweetness.
There's a sweetener. Thank goodness for this knife being so sharp as well.
Yeah. Obviously, this part of the process the kids don't do.
Yeah.
Oh, your knife technique, my friend, is just superb. Well done.
Here we go. That should be all good.
Beautiful. And I think we are
winning.
We are winning at life.
Oh.
Hey?
Oh. Imagine having a tree like that just has nectarines.
I've planted granadilla, blueberry, strawberry.
At home?
At home, bud.
Are you serious?
Everything, yeah. My little man's got green fingers, bro.
Little horticulturalist, you?
I know, man. Got to think about the future. And then you just kind of push the fruit down so it mixes beautifully. You can pop that in there. Hey, look at that.
That looks good.
It looks amazing. And then it's into the freezer until it freezes, obviously.
Yes.
And
we got some finished ones on that side.
Let's go and try it. Boom, ta-da! Congratulations.
Bring us the
right.
plate.
This looks amazing. How much more amazing do they look once they come out?
Wow.
Beautiful.
They're really big.
Don't play around.
It's giant.
Don't play around. Come to
you're gonna try and bite into one.
Okay. Whoa, whoa, yeah.
Make it a bit of a freeze.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So very, very sneaky. Oh, that's delicious, eh?
Oh, it hits the back of the throat there. Just
And you need that fruit just to freshen it up. Absolutely beautiful. If you want to create these gorgeous popsicles yourself, expressoshow.com.
Especially if you're in Uppington at 41 degrees.
How long will it last in Uppington? Please show us a video.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show indeed. Welcome back, and you are just in time because Alva V has been entertaining us today on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and she is back with a final performance this morning, and she's blowing us away with her incredible voice. Only 14 years old, and she's about to sing a song, a track that was released just last month. It is an original by Alba, and this one is called Feeling of Butterflies. Take it away.
I'm sitting here alone, all up in my bedroom. It's funny cause I know I'm only thinking of you, and I don't even know why. Every time you ask me, I lie. 'Cause every time you pass me, can't seem to meet your eyes. Can anybody tell me what I'm feeling? The feeling of butterflies. And every time you smile, I wanna cry. Tell me, do you also get the feeling of butterflies? The feeling of butterflies. can't seem to meet your eyes. Can anybody tell me what I'm feeling? The feeling of butterflies, and every time you talk, I wanna cry, cry, cry. And every time you smile, and every time you bless me, can't seem to meet your eyes. Tell me you also get the feeling of butterflies. I don't even know the feeling of butterflies. Oh, feeling of butterflies. The feeling
Take a bow, take a bow. The stage is yours. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Oh, what an opportunity, hey? 14 years old, national television, just...
The moment of becoming. How often do we see these moments, these watershed moments in a person's career? She's clearly put in the hard work, and now it must just happen. So glad that we could be here for that. To everyone who's contributed to an amazing show, thank you so much to you guys. Love you guys. Man.
Indeed. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you again bright and early tomorrow. Have a lovely...
Love you more.
Bye. It is a Wednesday, isn't it?
I think so.
Here's to all those glorious, sweet and savory once-a-year recipes and family memories that makes the season so festive. Made with love by Clover.